Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hotel Dropouts. As a redemption episode, I am joined by Bernard and Dan, and we must redeem ourselves from our previous week's episode. As one of our, I think there's ever only been one viewer. One of our
Well,
viewers,
That's
let's
not
say
true.
like
That's
that.
not true.
An overwhelming percentage of our viewers.
yes, an overwhelming
Our women
an
actually. Holy shit.
overwhelming percentage of our viewer has responded that the previous episode was kind of a clickbait because we didn't actually go into talking about how men suck. So this episode we will be presenting a couple of scenarios of basically dating stories and delve into why men suck. But before we do that, let's do a quick catch up. How are you doing, Bernard and Dan?
um, it's hot here, man.
Oh my
It's
goodness,
hot.
the heat wave. What's it like?
It's like being back in Southeast Asia again, but without the whole in this without the supporting infrastructure of air conditioned places. At least the transport system have air conditioning now.
But
Well,
even then, like the buildings and structure, is it like the architecture itself is not really built for ventilation or for like because I know that a lot of the houses in colder climates are built to retain heat as opposed to ventilate them.
hmm. That's why I just keep all my blinds down all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all dark every day, like sad and depressingly so.
Mm-hmm.
If I need the sun, I go outside for a little bit, but it's too hot to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I stay inside and avoid the sun.
Wow.
That's how my usual summers go because it gets incredibly hot. I get the morning sunlight because my house is facing directly towards the sun when it rises. And it's just
Hmm.
these ray of lights. It just cooks me in my bed. So I too have to have my blinds down. My room is perpetually dark.
And I don't know about you guys, right? Like, how often do you shower?
Oh, twice a
Once a
day.
day.
What?
Yeah, see, for some people here, that is unusual. I
Really?
know of some people who only showers like once every second or third day. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, hmm, I see.
When I was
Interesting.
little, before I became a teenager, I didn't shower every day.
Hmm. I
Ew.
mean, as a kid, I don't
I'm
think you
kidding. I'm
have
kidding.
to do it. No,
Uh,
I
Yeah.
probably
if
should.
it's cool, I can understand. Like if it's cool and dry, like some days you just don't get dirty. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you don't have to. Hot.
Sometimes, if I shower in the morning, then I go to the gym in the evening, and then I shower again. Sometimes I don't feel like showering the next day because I'm still clean from like the evening shower.
Yeah. Well, for me, I never want to go to bed dirty, so I always take a shower in the evening.
That's the
I,
Asian
Okay.
at
in
least
you.
I would like to. And then sometimes I take a shower in the morning to help me wake up, especially after you're sweating all night because it's too hot. And
Yeah.
then sometimes in the middle of the day when you come back from work, you're sweaty, you're wet, you're sticky. You're like, oh God, I need a quick shower to cool down. I mean, not always with soap, but like just a quick wash down. In Indonesian, they call it the duck shower, mandi bebek.
Oh, money
Interesting.
back. Sounds like getting your money
No,
back.
no, mandi bebek.
Mandi bebek.
Mandi bebek.
Yeah, not money back.
Money back.
Okay.
Shower.
Give money.
Well, what I thought was funny was the news coverage for like the heat wave in Europe, because France is suffering the most, right? Like in some I think in Bordeaux it was recording a temperature as high as 42 degrees. I cannot imagine like how hot that is. And then every time that this kind of news come up, it's the question is always the same. How much does this have to do with human beings? And it's just so
Mm.
annoying. Then every year after year, we've been through this charade in 2015 for the previous El Nino, and every couple of years you get this, right? Like so, it is a natural fluctuation of the climate, but we made it incredibly worse. We made it uh go towards the extremes, and I feel
Yeah,
like
and I don't know if
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm just.
And I don't know if other people notice, especially in Switzerland, but like every year the headline is always the same: hottest summer in 5 years. Brother, it's gonna be the hottest summer in 5 years every year going forward, my man.
Do you, so apparently, like, to do with when it comes to heat, right? Like, the most dangerous is when it gets really wet and damp. And if it's hot and wet, your body would struggle to respirate. Wait, to sweat.
Respirate.
So if you cannot
Mm.
Yeah.
sweat, you will overheat and eventually die. But
Yeah, simple solution. Just make sure Dan doesn't come back.
Dan,
What?
Uh-huh. Because
why?
then it won't be so wet.
Oh, oh, whoa, the glazing. Uh, but how hot is it for you, Dan? Like, is it does it affect as far as well, you're not really in the west, right? You're kind of in the east.
So, so yeah, I was just gonna say that I'm enjoying a nice warm summer. Yesterday it was 28 or something. Today it's
Wow,
going to
that's so
be
nice.
Oh
the
my God.
hottest day for a while, which will be like 31 or something.
Oh, how
But yeah,
nice is
yesterday
that?
we went to the beach, lay down in the sun, used sun protection, and yeah, just very good weather. We're lucky. I guess we're too far away.
You're living the lives of these French aristocrats before climate change. How nice. Uh,
Mm.
I'm thinking that maybe in the future, in a weird twist,
uh
there will be an influx of tourists going here during the summer just to escape the heat.
it would, right? Like, I feel like it all the like eastward from Poland is going to be where people escape for heat. So you can.
That's why I really wanted to build like A-frame houses with Dan.
Ah, that was the
And
underlying idea that
Because
because
of
of climate
future
change.
tourists.
yeah, remember we talked about like beachfront property and A-frame houses.
Hmm.
Mm. Oh wow.
I have stayed at a couple of A-frame houses. If that I if what you say is what I think it is, it's like a wooden cabin that is just a perfect triangle. It just looks like an A, and it's pretty
Yeah.
small. Right,
Yeah,
it's
correct.
pretty small, and you build a couple of cabins. You could have like I went to this place, kind of Airbnb, and you get to stay at these A-frame cabins. They're pretty small, but they're very they don't require too much air conditioning, and it's pretty nice and quiet on the inside. And then you have like
Mhm.
the communal areas that where you can get food, you can get like do other things. And I really like the idea that you just have a designated space just for sleeping. Right, you don't
Mm.
bring anything in there, it just feels good.
Yeah, I mean also it's like a couple of days getaway trip kind of thing, you know.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
well. So how was your week, Dan?
It was stressful. I was hurting for money. Um Recently I got paid, so it's much better now. And me and my partner noticed that it affects everything. I was like more easily irritated. Also, I feel a bit bad because I didn't do what I wanted to do, which is the last time we talked, Jamie, we discussed that it would be nice to do a journal and also meditate. And I actually proposed that to my partner, and she said it's a nice idea. Yeah, but we never did anything.
Oh
I don't know
wow.
why, because it's not in the routine yet, I guess.
See, y'all just left me to do this routine by myself. I done meditate, I done journal, and I feel awesome, man. It honestly, if you get this into it, like I meditate at the gym when I finish my workout. I go into the fully naked. I go into the steam room, and there's just this naked guy kind of like meditating in there. I think I frightened a few people. Uh, I did journaling, but I didn't do it as detailed as the journal. Like I didn't write down too much, and I feel bad about it. I feel like I want to like document as much as I can. There's just something cathartic about like going back and reading, what's happened. Hmm.
Interesting. How
Yeah.
long have you been doing that? And do you feel it taking any effect?
No, no, I started last week. I was gonna start with you, and throughout this week, I was kind of there were a couple of days I was feeling lazy, but then I said to myself, "Oh, but Dan must be the kind of person who would keep doing it, so I don't want to disappoint him." I was like, so,
Yeah,
so
I remember we had the conversation.
uh-huh.
Me and Jamie were speaking, and then Jamie was like, "Oh, I need to do my journaling now because Dan is actually did we spoke on the last podcast and we said we were gonna do it."
How do
No,
you
for
feel?
real. I'm not trying to guilt trip you or anything. That's what
It is
literally he
true.
said.
Yeah.
How do you feel now, Dan?
Yeah, a bit worse.
No, man, not worries. No worries. I would love for the three of us to do this. Like, my dream was to actually just have all of us work on the same document, so we can kind of see what's happening between each of us. Because like
Oh,
you document.
can we have like a web doc for that?
Yeah, yeah. I have a Google Doc, and you basically type in at today, and it automatically turns into like a date tag, and then you just type underneath
Hmm.
that. So it's
Yeah,
pretty
but
cool.
Nice.
I would prefer a more weekly cadence. I think daily is overdoing it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I feel like sometimes you might want to document like a specific day that was awesome or that was really terrible. You just need to get your mind off of things. Or you could just
Mhm.
wait for the whole week. I don't think it matters. Just as long as you have that routine. It's kind of like
Yeah,
a conversation with yourself, which we don't really have often.
I do that all the time in my head.
Nice. Well,
Stupid, stupid. You're so stupid.
oh
Oh
man.
yeah, then I'm doing journaling as well.
Ah, there we go then.
No,
Man.
no, but so yeah, I wanted to mention something as
Uh-huh.
well.
Oh,
So recently I never in my life did I did it. So this is the first time I actually did it. I just slid into somebody's DMs, right?
oh, thirsty. Okay.
Yeah, no, for real. Like I was like the only thing in my head was like I did think about it for a while, but then I was like, fuck it, you know? What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
If they're not interested, they would ignore me, or if not, they would say no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote, and for a couple of days there was a conversation, and you gotta understand this is a real baddie, like a real baddie, like 10 out of 10. God dang baddie, right? So the sexism is already coming in there. Is it sexism to say that to say that somebody is really attractive? Nah. I mean, even if it's the other way around, it's still fine, right? Like if a girl's glazing a guy like, oh my god, what a hunk, sugar daddy,
Yeah,
wow.
I don't think so.
That's not sexist, right?
I don't think
I
so.
wouldn't say so. I think it's fine.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, and then after a couple of days, the conversation died out, right? Like they got busy or whatever. And I'm just thinking, like, damn,
Mhm.
it's crazy how wanting something so badly could affect you so hard. It's like when I think about the previous circumstances
Yeah.
where I really wanted something to work out or to like work on something, but the other person involved was clearly not interested, and how it also affected me. But I guess this time I'm more equipped for it, for this situation, where I try not to internalize the issue. I try to say, hey, look, this is not about you. This is about them, right?
You
And
mean you said that to yourself?
yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I have the mental conversation with myself. I'm journaling mentally, where I try to see it like this is not something that says anything about you, but it's about them, right? But I also feel like there is this struggle between how much can you push everything aside and stay grounded and say, hey, look, you're fine the way you are, you're okay, it's just incompatibility. and how much of it is just like delusional, where you're just saying like, oh no, you're perfect, you're fine, everything's fine, it's just them, it's always just them. Because like I start to get this icky feeling of this victim mindset where you always point at everything else outside of you and say, no, I'm fine, it's everything else, right?
Yeah.
And that's a slippery slope that I don't want to go down, right? So how do you balance something like that? I mean, this is not for me anymore. Like I know I'm in a healthy balance, I would say. But sometimes you just need to like, oh fuck, that sucks. Gotta let it go. But letting go is not so easy, especially the stronger you desire it, right? So Jamie, do you have any wise words here for situations like that? Or Dan maybe?
I think pointing your fingers at others is always easier. It's better for mental health, but I kind of rarely do that. Like I'm like the opposite. I kind of always point towards myself. Like, hey, what could I have done better? What could I, and then I list out like the things that I could have done better, the things that I sort of think I could have corrected. And then I do a little pass of, okay, how much is this fair? How much is this unfair? So I kind of have like the
Mm.
opposite sequence of approach. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I would also say that I like to blame myself for things. Uh, but I think it's a problem that I have, so I try to um, dial it down. Like I know that I'm prone to blame myself too much, so
Hmm.
I just try to not, you know, take it in with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but like I feel like, look, neither approach is right or wrong. Like I feel like as a consequence of the way I do things, I like to like, point at myself because if it's a problem with me, then I have some kind of control, right? When that in of itself is also kind of delusional because sometimes there's just nothing you can do, to win over another person. So I think I don't know, like I just feel like all of us are trying to find that balance, right? Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah, our own mental health should come first.
true, true. Sometimes I envy the people that are delusional like that. Well, not envy, but like something along the that feeling.
Oh my god, my
That
dad is
it
a
takes so much confidence in
yeah.
yourself to kind of ignore the glaring problems that you yourself might have.
My dad is
Yeah, actually
exactly
there's
like
a name
that.
for this.
And he's the happiest person I know. He is so happy. Like ignorance is bliss, delusion is joy. That is the
There is
best.
a name for this. It's called self-criticism and toxic shame.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh well. Well, I guess it's about to I don't know. Like it is about a self-balancing act, but then sometimes there are people that are just content being that way, right? Um,
Yeah,
But let's not dive too deep into this topic. I just wanted to
sure.
raise it because you asked me how my week was. I just talked about the heat, but I also wanted to share something on the mental front.
Aha. Well, on my side, there is not that much heat because we would have heat, but usually like once or twice a week. The rest of the week had just been pouring rain, right? Because of how like this El Nino works, it's pushing a lot of heat is going your way, but a lot of moisture is coming my way, and it's just non-stop raining. It is insane, and then going anywhere in pouring rain is just it irks me. But other than that, I am mentally preparing for surgery, which I'm pretty terrified of because I my nose is it's so sensitive. I don't like things probing in there because if you stick some like how like when we did the PCR test, apparently the
yeah.
surgery is like 40 minutes long of PCR test. It's just in there within your sinuses. Yeah, like it's in there. So I'm kind of annoyed about it. Oh, but I need to do it
And
because I want to know what's it like to sleep and breathe like the rest of you.
Oh, Jimmy,
No, that sounds sad.
hold on, hold in there.
I will
You
hang
got
in
this,
there.
man. You got
Yeah.
this.
I got this. Round one, the financial faux pas. Okay, based on like the viral. I don't know if you guys have seen these clips, but basically, a guy and a girl went on a date, and then the man wanted to, because he shared the appetizer with the woman, right? So he then asks the woman to pay her exact proportion of the portion of the appetizer that she ate, and came up with the numbers. Say, oh, because of how many grams you consumed, you pay 40% of it, stuff like that. Now, of course, this is kind of an extreme example. Obviously, the guy's being a douchebag, but the idea is that there are men that are very particular. They're very stringent when it comes to financials. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, how do you? First of all, do you guys think like if a guy is like sort of delving into the accounting of things and making sure that the woman pays her fair part, like, is that a sucky behavior? Is that an unideal behavior?
Ooh, it's a complicated question. I think the problem is that in our world, as much as we would like to think about ourselves that we're all equal and everything,
Yeah.
at least in the place I live, women actually still want men to be the providers. And so when you do
Yeah.
things like that, you're not seen as a provider. And like their drive and affection to you as a potential partner drops.
Uh-huh.
But from the side of men, like if you think about it in a very dry logic, it makes sense because you know we're supposed to be striving for equality. So why, like if I go out with my friends to eat, I don't pay for them because I invited them out. Because there are or all other males, or even if they're female but they're just friends, we all pay for each other.
Yeah.
So there it's fine for everyone. Like no female friends will be offended that in a group the man didn't pay for them. At least I've never heard about that because we're friends. So the right action is to see you like basically in my case the right action is you invite a girl to a date. That means you're paying because you're a man. Just suck it up.
Ah.
And it's annoying because at the same time, our society is striving for equality, so everyone earns the same amount of money. Plus, we're all getting like really poor because of inflation. So, basically, it means that a man is limited of how many dates a month he can have by his budget. And if you're limited on money, it might start to feel like. It's a pay to win game instead of
Yeah.
like two people trying to find who are they attracted to.
But
Like why
okay.
is that it has to be about spending money and some because some girls, at least where I live, if a man would invite them on a date in a walk in the park, and they would see, aha, he chipped out, and that means he's not a good provider, and that would put a bad mark on you. So the problem is that the society is changing and they didn't decide on the new approach to this. They were kind of still cleaning, parts of us are still cleaning up to the old approach. At the same time, the world is changing. It's whatever we decide.
What are
I,
the?
I I have to add to this with a real life example.
Oh.
So I met with somebody and I invited them to go on a walk at the park, but they decided, or she decided, she would rather have some drinks instead, and it was not mentioned who was gonna pay for it. At the end of the day, as we were standing at the reception, I was thinking, oh, I'll pay my half, she'll pay her half, where she just swiped out her credit card and paid for the whole thing. A couple of days go by, she gave the HR meeting of like, hey, I think I'm too busy to be dating right now. I say I wish her all the best, and then I send her a bit more than the half back. It was like 16 or 18, and I just sent 20.
A bit more than a half, a bit more the whole sum.
Well, it was like 30 something. It was like 30 something.
The half
Yeah.
was 18. Okay.
Yeah. But the one drink was like 16 or 18, which is
My
crazy.
God, inflation.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so here is the same conundrum and the same logic of what Dan mentioned, where I suggested a walk, like a low cost, like low investment, emotional investment as well. First intro date, because I don't know you and I want to get to know you, right? I mean, how awkward would it be if you invite somebody for dinner and you realize, oh, I don't like this person, and you have to sit through the whole thing? No, a quick public area meetup, walk by the park, hang out by the lake or the river is easier to just say, oh, this ain't working, I gotta break off, than a whole dinner. But then she said, let's go get drinks. And then, oh, now what, right? You asked her out for a low cost, low investment, low emotional investment, get to know each other.
Hmm.
And then she suggested drinks. In this case, she paid for it. And when it didn't work out, I pay my half back. Where in Dan's situation, because it's in aligned to Dan's statement of the person who invites covers.
Is that how she understood
But
it?
then to be fair, like when it's realized it's not working out, I pay it back. But then again, is that me overthinking?
I think the ideal would be if everyone pays their share half. It's just
I
fair.
think so, yeah.
But because of the added context of a breadwinner, it like it breaks this logic. Because on a date, I'm talking about like the situation that I feel like we have where I live. I've heard stories that it's not the same, and that even girls even get offended if you do this old style stuff
Yeah.
somewhere in Western
Yeah.
Europe, right? But I'm just talking about what I've learned recently. And to be honest, until not so long ago, I thought this is the case in here as well. But when I started to talk about it with my partner and other girls, I understood that it's not the case.
Yeah.
That's all of a sudden here they're pretty traditional, but God forbid you're going to say to them that they must stay in the kitchen. No, I'm just well,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
joking because
wow.
I don't care about that. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't want a stay-at-home wife. I think it would be a pretty boring person to live with because they don't have anything going on in their life. But at the same time, I was surprised that they mind, lifting their fair share. Uh,
Is a
uh,
stay-home husband got nothing to do going on with his life as well?
I, I think so, yeah. If it's the only thing he's
Oh,
doing, in my opinion, not that it, not nothing going on,
I'll
right?
leave it
Because
to
they
the
might have a
audience
lot
to
of kids.
decide, huh?
What if children are involved?
Yeah, there might be a lot of children, and they could be occupied a lot. But what I'm trying to say is that I just find it more attractive when the other person is
Mm.
has their own like interests, hobbies, careers. I think it's just a more interesting person, I
Yeah,
guess.
they're living their life and they're not just staying at home and like scrolling away and like
Yeah, yeah.
what the fuck are you even doing?
Wait, so let's get back to the the question. Benny, in your case, like, did she offer to get drinks? Like, what did she say? She said, "Let's go for
Oh, there's a
drinks."
bar nearby. Let's go there.
And did she say who was gonna pay for it? Like, did she's like, "Oh,
Nope,
I'm gonna," and then okay, so afterwards things didn't work out. You paid her the amount that you thought was fair. Did she say anything?
nothing.
See,
She
because
didn't ask. I just did it.
okay. See, the thing, if I was the girl, right, and if I had said, "Hey, this one's on," "Hey, this one's on me," or maybe there's a even before that we have an understanding that whoever asks the other person out, would be the one to pay for it. And if and only if I had said that, and then you still paid back, then I would be offended, right? I'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I've
but
already said,"
it was not
yeah,
mentioned. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so do
And
you guys?
also, one moment, I think it's also very important to state here that this is assuming that both parties are good faith individuals
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to know each other, right? because
Yeah.
we live in an imperfect world and there are imperfect people, and there are, let's not deny the fact, on both sides, there are bad faith actors that only want to go there for the free food or free drinks. Both sides, not just girls. There are guys too that are like that.
Though mostly women. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding. I take it back. I'm take it back. So, okay. So, if a man insists on splitting a first date bill down to the exact mathematical percentage of what you consumed, is he being fair and financially responsible, or does he suck?
Wait. Mathematical percentage? Why don't you mean like you just pay for what you ordered and I pay for what I ordered?
No, no.
Or
This
like
guy's more.
50-50 where I ordered like expensive shit?
No, this guy's more stringent. He's like, oh, let's if we get a plate of appetizers to share it, and I ate 60%, you ate 40%. He then asks you, you need to pay for that 40%, or at least insist on a 6-4 ratio split. Does he
Was
suck
this
or
discussed before the order was made?
no?
No,
Nothing was
that's
discussed. Nothing like this is a imagine like
No,
an
it's a
American
red
date.
flag if a person is a psycho that
Mm.
like weighs your food while you're having dinner. Then of course run away.
Uh-huh.
Something like splitting in half, or like just saying, okay, let's just pay approximately how much we both accepted it. I think it's fair and logical, right? Like
Mhm.
what you would do with your friend. When I'm eating with friends, we don't sit there with the calculator
Yeah.
finding the exact thing. We usually just
yeah.
like, okay, there's 5 people. It was 50 euros, 10 from each. That's it. Because when you're, yeah. Uh, and I think that's the fair and like the same approach to it if you want to split it. Of course, as Bernard said, because it's my friends, everyone is like a good agent. They're not nefarious and trying to scam us all for like money. It's not like everyone ate for 5 euros and some guy like ordered for 25. We're all more or less equal. Uh, if you see somebody trying to fool you for money, then you say, hey, you're ordering pretty expensive stuff. I'm gonna ask then for us to like not split just equally. And I think on another thing, if today I would invite on a date, oh, it's a hard question. It's all
It kind of depends on where it is, what the culture is. But
you
let's
have
say
to.
let's say you don't know any of that. Let's say you're in the United States. You don't know. You guys haven't talked before. You just had a few messages, and then it was agreed upon that you will meet for a date. And then suddenly, when the bill comes, the guy is like, "Oh, you need to pay 40% of the appetizer."
You know what? I've been thinking about it, and I think it kind of makes it easier for me because I would say, hey, I'm a foreigner and I'm from a place where I'm used to men picking the place where we go and paying. But
Mhm.
if you want to split and we can choose together where to go, that's perfectly fine for me as well. What is it? What is it? Just like it's a bit killing the romance, to be honest, I think.
Mhm.
But I think I might ask that because first of all, I'm kind of offering something by saying, okay, my default setting is this, but if it's not comfortable for you, then tell and we'll adapt accordingly.
So then it's
Um,
communicating.
yeah, I guess you have to communicate.
Okay, so
Hmm.
I
so
guess I
in
would maybe I would do it even if I'm here, if I would start to date.
so so in my question, our one female listener is just sitting there
We have more
molding.
than just one, Jamie.
Does he suck in the question? You need to pass a judgment.
If he is splitting down to the gram,
Yeah, down to the percentage.
yeah,
Yeah, that would suck
100%.
because like it's also like, do you really want to be with somebody who's always keeping track of, oh, I did this, I did that, that's not fair, blah blah blah. I mean, like, even if it's from the other person, right? Like, regardless, guy or girl, romantic relationship or just a normal friendship, like somebody who's always calculating like that, brother. I mean, like, at some point, if there is a big imbalance, then yeah, it would have to be called out, like, hey, what's going on here,
Yeah.
right? But it's also like me and my, it used to be me and two other person. We're not friends anymore. Um, where I'm the only one making a decent paycheck, and one's jobless, or in that time both were jobless, I would always be the one like covering the cost because I'm the only one getting an income, right?
Mm,
These two poor saps, it's more fair that way, right? I feel like anyway.
I don't think that's fair.
I mean, it's not fair, but it really depends on your relationship dynamic with these people. I would do that for you guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for somebody random that I just met.
Yeah, and it's also like if I
Unless it's a
wanted to, I
date
could
with a
also
girl.
say, "Oh, let's just hang out by the train station, or hang out by the park, or hang out by things." There doesn't always have to be food involved.
Yeah, that could be fun too, right? Like, just I honestly, a walk around town is interesting. I went on a date where it was just walking around town. We just walked and talked. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's also the goal is to get to know each other, right?
yeah,
Like having the first date be the movies. I think that sucks because it's like you're both watching a movie.
yeah.
I'm not getting to know you, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready for second question?
Yes.
Okay, the background check audition. Okay, so based on some of the common experiences of women who went on the first date, they ran into a man who interviewed a woman about sort of her skills and her cooking ability and how many kids she wants and family goals, etc. So the question is, does the man suck if he does that? And before I finish, Bernard recently sent us a very interesting clip of a breakdown of a dating show in South Korea, and in there we had a
Oh, I
man.
started to watch it.
Yeah, we had a man called George by the nickname George, and was that him who asked if the woman has stamina?
Yeah,
Right, right. So,
he's
so, the, so the whole, so the annoying thing is that stamina and kids, etc. So, like on the first date, if a man is sort of like kind of interviewing you for some kind of audition, right? Like, does he suck?
but he has to be autistic because literally the girl said, "I have a kid. I know what it's like,"
Yeah, he
and he's
asked the
still
question
asking
again,
about
didn't he?
stamina and shit. And when she flips the question, like, "Yeah, but what if you're the one looking after the kid?" Then he's suddenly like, "Oh shit, you're right," but then he completely ignores it, and then.
It's funny because he studied in the UK and he specifically said, I'm looking for an intellectual with new age thinking when he's perpetuating old age thinking, when he doesn't care. Like to him, it doesn't even register that the husband takes care of the kid.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the
he's just
irony.
autistic. Like,
uh,
you gotta watch it, then. You gotta watch it.
It's really funny.
yeah, I'm good. So the answer to the question, yeah, on the first date, that's crazy. I mean, it's a valid question that you should ask at
Hmm.
some point. I think it's perfectly fine to find out where both are you heading.
Yeah.
But on the like, it's either has to be before the date, like when you're just like arranging, and you could say like, hey. I'm really looking into starting a family. I like you, but to be honest, if you're not looking to start a family sometime in the future, I would rather not start. You know, it also sounds a lot more sane than to do it on the date
You
because
know,
it's kind of weird.
I feel like this has an age, a sort of age factor built into it. When you're like in your 20s,
True,
you're
true,
dating for the first time, you don't care about these things. But you're in your
true, true, true,
40s, you know, like honestly, when my parents divorced and my mother went on dates, it's perfectly normal for them to straight up just ask, because what
Yeah,
can
you're
you
so
provide
right.
for me? Right. So I think, yeah, maybe age plays a role into it. But yeah, if a guy just is doing that on the first date, which kills the mood, I think that sucks. You should have done it
Hmm.
beforehand. All right.
I also
Yeah.
think it depends on how you bring it up, right? Like if it's an interview style question, so what are your three strengths and weaknesses? Like do blah blah blah. Like it's gonna be weird. But if you
Why
can
do you
like,
want to work for this? I mean, be in this relationship.
why do you want to be my wife?
where,
Oh my
where do
god.
you will see yourself in 5 years?
Why should I hire you? Why should I marry you?
Okay.
I think that is also an indication of just burnt out. Like somebody is not having fun anymore. They just like results driven. And then I would ask them like, "Hey, it sounds to me like you got some internal stuff that you got to work on. that you maybe want to take a look at it again first before you start dating, because I
Mm.
don't think you're trying to fix a hole inside you that you need to work on yourself first, you know.
Right. How about the third question? Okay, this is the resume.
Wait. Does that make the men suck or not? That was the question.
Yes.
Yeah,
What's the verdict?
did you answer? Well, Dan answered. What's your verdict?
I say it depends. It depends on. I mean, the age factor plays a
Mhm.
part, of course. Like the older you get, the less time you have to like pussyfoot around,
But
right?
that's on the first date,
Um,
though. Like on the first date. Now, why don't you do it
I mean,
before?
you also want to know. Look. The point is that love is not enough, right? Like, if you really
Hmm.
want a life partner, you got to make sure that your spending habits are more or less aligned, your values and your morals are aligned, your life goals are aligned. Do you want to stay in one country? Are you moving around a lot, right? Like, are
Hmm.
you able to live with that? Like, you asked me a
Yeah.
question before, how far apart can you be and what's acceptable or not, right? These kinds of things are all important if you want to make sure that you're with a partner that's on the same baseline and understanding as you yourself. Because if there's a divergence, if there's an incompatibility there, then chances are that it's not going to work out, right? Like your communicational needs, some people are fine like only having a text like once a month, and some people need a
Right.
bit
Right.
more, and some people are fine only seeing each other once every 2 3 weeks, and some people need a bit more.
So would you
um,
ask these questions on your first date with the woman?
it's the process of getting to know each other, right?
Hmm.
Maybe not like interview style checklists,
Hmm.
maybe, but try to weave it into the conversation so that it's natural.
I think George thought
But these
he
are
weaved it.
questions that you should have answered. Like, even I'm sorry, most people say it's taboo, but I think it's important to talk about. But sex, right? Your
Uh,
libido, what your sexual needs are, your physical needs, I think
i.e.,
it
how's
should
your
be talked
stamina?
about as well.
My point being that it could seem natural to you, but to the woman, it felt like an interrogation, right?
Yes, but it also, like I said, it depends on how you bring it up,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like, if you say, hey, look, I think this topic is important for me and it's something I would like to talk about. Would you be comfortable with that? Instead of just going into it, you just ask
Hmm.
first.
Do you guys want my
That's
answer?
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys
And
want?
also, like, when Dan was trying to struggle with that logic sequence, we
He
were
didn't.
trying to push our idea on him instead of asking him, why do you feel that way, right? Like, that's why I also changed my approach and say, like, what do you mean, like, with the 8 cards, right?
I don't think he struggled. It was just the idea of how the question was. Oh, we can't do this again. Oh my god.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let me.
It's not struggle, maybe it's the wrong word. And
Yeah,
also, Jamie, just as an idea for you, if you feel like that segment was too long, you can just cut it out and leave it as like a side blooper.
okay.
Hey, you know what? You can cut it up so that it sounds like we're just agreeing to you. You're like, oh my god, Jimmy.
Oh my god. Okay, I only ask you guys to do the same challenge with other people. Run through the whole thing yourself. It's super interesting because they will get as frustrated as well, and I'd like to see how you guys handle it. Okay.
Yes, but don't forget, you can cut it up so that our listeners can have a
Yeah. I'll
easier listening
I'll
process. It's
decide.
just a bit more work.
I'll decide what to do when I re-listen like the whole clip. Uh,
I think we should have shorts where we take just the like out of context, most
uh,
outrageous statements and like have shorts.
I would love for you to help me with that.
I would love to help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah, you
All
both love to do that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. My answer to the previous question would be that I don't know if many women would agree with me. Honestly, for me, uh I don't think I'd even talk about any of my requirements and stuff like that in the first or even before the first date. I would leave that for
Really?
after the first date. Like honestly, to be honest, like that's how that's just how I roll. I understand everything you guys have said make perfect sense. It's just how you roll. For me, a little bit of ambiguity, a bit of mysticism. It doesn't matter. I kind of just want to know the vibe of the person. I don't even think about like future compatibility. I just want to know if I can have fun with a person. And if you start doing this kind of back and forth, it kills the mood for me. So I like that. I'd be interested to see if how our female audiences feel. Am I on the same kind of spectrum as you guys, or am I just a different gay, unique, weird breed?
I mean, you're not wrong, Jamie. Like, while all this stuff is important, like you also want to be able to just hang out and have fun with the person you're gonna spend the rest of your life with, right?
Yeah. So I leave it for later, like those questions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now to question number 4, and this should be our last question because we're at 2 hour mark. Um.
Well, technically, we can cut out the first
Okay.
hour, so.
Then this would be the 30-minute mark. All right. Uh. The third question, resume inflator, right? Uh, there have been I've seen this on Reddit a lot. So it's basically when the man constantly he would take the woman out to like a very high-end restaurant, and oftentimes they'll explain like the wine list or the house recommendations and stuff like that.
Oh, mansplaining.
Yeah, and then they talk about like their Bitcoin, and they often say that, "Oh, I'm a freelancing entrepreneur. I manipulate the market, blah blah blah." Like, but when in fact they're
Uh,
just unemployed and gambling. Do they suck?
it
Well,
feels
the way
very
you put it,
pretentious. Oh,
it
sorry, Dan.
sounds
Go ahead.
horrible.
Can you say
The
that
way
again, Dan?
the way you made it sound, it's just like a douchebag.
Yeah, I've read many stories which are basically like this, or sometimes even worse.
For
What?
me, it just sounds very pretentious. It,
Mm,
it didn't. It doesn't. It sounds like they're trying to sell themselves better than just keeping it real.
It's a red
And
flag.
because
and
They're
I'm
selling too much for themselves.
So I'm on
yeah,
this Reddit called Girl Dinner Stories or Girl Dinner Diaries, where women often
I'm on that
share.
one too.
Okay, yeah, they share a lot of these dating stories, and I have read. I kid you not. I think from from when I first joined until now, I must have read 5 or 6 stories like these. And then if you go on other subs, you have the same. There's another one called Dating Hell, where they have the same exact account where the man is just sort of boasting. So I guess the question is like, why do men feel the existential need to pretend that they're experts on something when even if they know nothing about it?
Because the provide breadwinner thing,
Yeah,
and they're
Mm,
being too,
ego.
they're trying too hard to show that they're like the breadwinner.
yeah. No, I think it's more like they see it more like a competition.
Mm,
Why you
Oh
should
yeah,
choose
true.
me instead of them. But I think that approach is already wrong, right? That's the whole. I mean, you're going on a date, you're supposed to figure out like, hey, look, this is me as
mm.
how I am. Are you able to work with it or not, right? It's a filtering process. But I think the problem is a lot of people have this scarcity mindset where they're like, oh, I have to lock down the first one I got. If not, I won't get anything. So
How about the example of George from the dating show you showed us? Because he knows a lot about history, right? And he even during like one-on-one dates, or it doesn't matter if it's one-on-one or in the group setting, like you'd often see him speak up and talk about interesting historical facts that are pertinent to the things that they're talking about at the moment. And I have a feeling that some of these men aren't really trying to boast. They're not trying to like come off cool or anything. They're just nervous and they don't really know what else to say, right? Can we give them
but
that benefit of the doubt?
see, the thing with George is he's a
Yeah,
history buff. For the context of the audience, it's a dating show. It's a Korean dating show where they paired up like guys who never dated before with divorced women. It just sounds like a dumpster fire on its own, but that's what makes it so entertaining.
South Koreans are so
Um,
good at reality TV. It's insane.
yeah, but and George is a history buff, but he's a narcissist at the same time because he didn't give a shit about any of the answers of the lady.
Yeah.
He only focused on what he wants, right?
Mm.
And the fact that he only cares about talking about his history and just unprompted, like just, oh yeah, and this is just like blah blah blah. It's also it also doesn't have a lot of empathy and or sympathy for
Mm.
the people around him, you know. If you can, I mean, on one hand, it would be great if he finds another history buff, but I would say that George's problem is that he needs to work on his narcissism or his egocentricness, where he only focuses on what he cares about, and he kind of, I don't even know if anything that girl said he even like listened to. You know what I mean?
I have
He,
known people exactly like him in my life.
yeah, but that's kind of toxic, don't you think?
It is. They do this thing where they pretend they acknowledge what you're saying. So you'll say something. You'll be like, "Oh, I have a kid." They'll be like, "Oh, They pretend to be empathetic, but they haven't really listened to a single word you said. And you
And then
only
the
found
question is,
out.
do you want to be with somebody like that?
You know, do they suck?
People like that does suck, yes, but just
Mm.
because you're a history buff doesn't make you suck.
I think, I
Yeah.
would forgive you if you're just nervous, you don't know how to act, and then you sort of start
You
explaining
can
stuff.
usually tell that apart.
Yeah, yeah,
If
that's true.
if
Yeah.
somebody is autistically into trains or
Mm.
trying to boast how good they're at the finance market, I think
Yeah.
Guys, what is the
it will be
funniest thing?
noticeable.
What is the funniest thing somebody has mansplained it to you?
So I was on this podcast and there was this logical
Oh,
question.
oh my God, yes, yes.
But you know what? Actually, that's a problem with me. I think sometimes I cannot explain my ideas enough, and somehow I still understand what other people are saying, and so I would sometimes like not as rare as I would like. I would
Mhm.
sit there and listen to the explanation, and I wouldn't be able to tell the person, I understand this. Don't explain it to me again.
Mm.
I am talking about a different thing.
Okay, but what's like the funniest thing somebody has? Sorry, I didn't clarify. It's something a man has mansplained to you incorrectly, but they're like very confident about it.
Hmm.
I don't know because usually I
I
have
know,
an
I know.
example, but it's not to me.
Okay, tell us.
So I used to have two subordinates, one direct subordinate and one lower level one. And one of them pretends to know a lot about guns, and the other one actually know a lot about guns.
Yeah.
And the one who pretended was like boasting, "Oh, Holo Sun, reflective sights, blah 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 blah," and the other guy was just listening, and he told us, he disclosed us later that, wow, this guy have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, and that
It's
was funny.
I feel like is there a difference between a guy's mansplaining to another man versus one that's for a woman? There must be.
No, 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 no. I think they're both the same. They both just try to sell themselves as more
Okay.
competent.
So it's just about different things then.
Not necessarily.
Hmm. Because I can't remember if anybody has mansplained anything to me.
I also cannot remember of this.
Yeah, but then again, do you surround yourself with people like that?
I
Do you,
mean,
when somebody starts mansplaining, do you allow that kind of that
Yes.
situation?
oh my God, is this privilege that we have? Because women often talk about mansplaining, and I'm just sitting here, well, that's never happened to me. Is it because nobody kind of disrespected me enough to think that I'm intellectually inferior, and thus he had to explain something? I don't know. This is,
I think
Hmm.
there could be also a thing where sometimes, like with my partner, sometimes I'm explaining things because I genuinely want to be more clear what I'm saying, because I feel like maybe maybe she's not understanding me completely, and I'm not doing it because I think the person is stupid or something.
Yeah, but you're talking
'Cause
about emotional breakdown, right? Logical and emotional breakdown, not a thing.
what?
I mean,
You're talking about your own logic, right? You like your thought pattern.
No, not always.
Ah,
Sometimes we argue about random stuff. To be honest, I kind of like to argue a little bit, but I like to like discuss and debate. I have a
la-
friend with
ladies,
who I
Dan is a
do that.
cancer. I'm just telling you.
But yeah, anyway, sometimes I feel like sometimes maybe it's the case where they might think that it's done because the man assumes that they're stupid or something. But and I was told and blamed about it. Uh, but in reality, it was never like that in my mind. It's just me, like in the moment, explaining because I thought that the thing that I said before wasn't understood correctly. That's it.
Mm.
hmm.
All right. Uh, shall we move on to question number 4?
Like right now, you were explaining me the whole logical thing. I never felt like you think I'm stupid.
Hmm.
Mm.
I just like I saw it as you explaining me what you're trying to explain.
Yeah,
Wait, so is the problem women that they identify it as mansplaining?
maybe.
I said
Oh,
that
Yeah, I'm gonna
sometimes
say it. Maybe. Maybe
oh.
sometimes
they're too
I feel
sensitive.
like
Oh.
it could be like that because
Mm.
like in I have a real life example where it was thought like that, but it wasn't the case.
Mm.
And also, if I can have an example of myself where I was in a situation where I really, really, really wanted to explain something because this was a very personal thing, situation, and it was more like it was a situation where I knew stuff the other party did, but it seems that they were not aware that I was aware. And when they said something which I knew was more, there was more to it. I struggled with the urge of like, yeah, you don't need to bullshit me right now, right?
Yeah.
But it was at the point where it didn't matter anymore. So I just kept quiet, kept it to myself because it was not my role anymore.
Ah, I get
Mm.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Wow. This
Oh,
is
what was that?
oh,
Uh,
sorry.
again, it was just my computer
Uh
Next
started
question.
playing.
Next question,
Anyway.
the mommy's boy plot twist. So I have seen some of these complaints as well, based on anecdote of a guy who brought his mother to a first date because her
Oh
opinion
my.
matters most, or if the man, sort of texted his mother photos of his date. So I guess the question is there a line between a man who loves his mum and a man who is kind of like managed by his own mum?
Brother.
Of course.
What is that
Of
line,
course
and
there is.
why do many men cross it before the second date, or they already bring it in on the first date?
I believe
I
it's the
think
mom.
there might be also women who are like this, and it doesn't matter if it's the mom or the dad. I think it's
No, it's
more
usually
like
the mom. I've never heard of stories where it's the dad. Because at least where I live, we have jokes like where the dad is like, "Okay, how old are you? What was your name?" Like,
Mhm.
um,
with
but
the shotgun on the lap
kind of like that. No,
or
no,
the
but
baseball bat.
that could be a question to his own son. Like, but anyways, I think it's the problem is the mom. because they for some reason could be traumatized by something, and they hold on to their dear child for way too much and way too long.
Hmm.
And some guys grow up and they notice this and they start to like do something about it, like avoiding, or like they try to break off this bond.
Or they do extreme things like
Mm.
leave the country overnight and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this.
yeah. But some don't, and you can't really blame them because this is like they've
Mm.
experienced this since childhood. It's like an
Mhm.
elephant that was tied to a little metal pole when it was little, but now it's older and it doesn't go away still because it learned in like when it was a child that it cannot. Basically, when you're brought up in an atmosphere like that, it's
So it's the mom's
I
fault.
guess yeah, I believe
So
Oh,
it's
so.
the
I
woman's
believe
fault.
so. Of course, there could be cases where it's also because the person himself is very mm,
clingy to the
clingy.
mother.
Yeah, but I think it's the mom's fault usually. Like I've seen some live examples. It's the mom. It's like
Oh, you guys heard it firsthand. Bernard and Dan making the account of what was this thing? Toxic femininity. This is precisely what Jordan Peterson talked about in a
I
the
mean,
worst case scenario of a toxic mother, right? But back to the
and
question. This is like a very Freudian thing because it's
one moment.
you're the woman, right? And it's the problem of feeling like, oh, you're trying to date me, but you seem to love your mother very much as well. So like, where's the line?
yeah, yeah.
I would say the line is where you're not comfortable.
Mm,
If you feel like it's too much, then that's where the line is.
I don't
But I
think
would
you
also
should
say it's not
actively
just the mother's
participate in
fault.
your new family life.
Yeah, you got to be real with yourself. Like, are you okay with your partner always having to seek approval from the mothers first before they do anything? If the answer is no, then you got your answer, because it's also something we all have to learn, that you can't change anybody that doesn't want to change. And even then, the process of change is hard, emotionally heavy, and takes a lot of time. But anyway,
so
I don't think it's
mm,
just the mother's fault. I think it's also the fault of the child, be it man or woman, who just accept the situation as it is.
mhm.
You can say that yes, you were raised in that environment and it's harder for you to see something else, but come on, you're an adult, you're a sovereign individual. You also have friends who have different perspectives and different lifestyles. You know that there is an alternative, but usually you decide not to change because it's too hard, because right now it's easier. And the not wanting of pushing your boundaries, the not wanting of removing yourself from your comfort zone, is that the kind of person you want to be with as well? Somebody who does not want to do those things?
Well, I think it's not only about the comfort zone, because usually, again, in real life, what I saw, it's if you try to set up the boundaries and you try to start separating, then there's active action to prevent that. There's manipulation,
Yeah,
like it's like an abusive relationship.
it is.
Sure, I'm not saying that it's completely out of the control of the person, but I would say the bulk is on the mother in this case.
Yeah,
In
but
the cases that I'm thinking of and what I saw.
I'll say my personal example. I threw aside everything and moved countries. I would say if there is a real will to change the situation,
Mhm.
you would do it, no matter how rough the situation is. The only question is, do you want to do it or not? Are you willing to throw everything aside just to prove that point? And most
Uh,
people is no. Most
it's
people are not willing to do that.
it's not only about the will. Sometimes. I think you just like people like that. They don't understand that something is wrong. Like if you, extreme example, if you, there's psychos that had children and they would, lock them up in the basement. Those
Yeah, yeah.
people come out like crazy. It's not about willpower. It's that if your only source of information is this abusive not partner, but this abusive parent, uh, you could have all the will in the world, but you might not just be aware that you're not in a healthy relationship.
Let me
Yeah.
Like
let,
any attempt of other people saying, "Hey, your relationship with your mother is weird," would result in that mother, like banning your communication with that person. And because the mother was in that person's life for way longer than you, like she just has more leverage over that person. I'm not
That
saying
is
it's
true. But
impossible.
my statement,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, but that is fair, and you are right. But my statement is under the assumption where you do have access to the outside world, you do see the different perspectives, and you do have access to the alternative.
what
You're
yeah,
you're you're saying like a very specific scenario. I'm
what
saying like where you are aware that this is not healthy.
what if it's a less extreme example, as in like it's very difficult for you to discern what's healthy and what's not? We could talk about Italian Americans, where Italian American men tend to have very close relationships with their mother, and sometimes their mothers are very overbearing. It is a cultural kind of thing, right? So what if it's in that instance, right?
Then it's up to the kid to sit down with themselves and figure out what is okay with them and what is not.
You mean the woman?
yeah,
It's up to the
The
woman.
kid. It doesn't matter the woman or the man. Like the kid have to know where the boundaries between them and their parents are, and their potential dating partner have to see this and also understand where they are okay with and what is not. Both, all individual have to know what they are okay with and what is not, and if there is an incompatibility there, then you're just not compatible with what you're seeking.
yeah. I agree with Bernard. The final line is some people are fine with a mother that is a bit overbearing. Maybe they themselves grew up in an environment like that.
Okay, so
For
let's have
some,
an
it's just
example.
cringe.
If a guy asks his mother for advice on a first date, and you are the woman, like imagine, put yourself into the shoes of the woman. The guy asks his mum for advice on the first date. Is that sweet, or is it kind of a subcategory of sucking, or is that kind of like iffy?
I mean, first of all, advice is an advice. In the end, it's up to him to follow it or not.
When does he ask for this advice?
So
Is it like
you go
a
on a
live
date.
chat GPT
No,
conversations like, "Hey mom, she told me this. What should I do
no.
now?"
You go on a
Like just have
date.
an earbud in the ear.
Let me give you right again. I think the example would be something like this, right? You go on a date with this man, uh you compliment him on his outfit, and then you're like, oh, you dress really nice, and then he was like, oh, I asked my mother about how I should prepare for this date. Is that sweet, or is that kind of red flag?
I, I
It's
I would be ashamed to say something like that.
But if you're the woman, what would you
It's like,
feel?
yeah, I would feel like
okay. Let
probably it's a bit cringy.
if I am on a date with a girl and I compliment her on on her clothes, and she said her mom or her dad helped her pick, I'll be like, oh, okay, interesting. It would not be conclusive evidence of a problem, but it would be highlighted.
Sus. It would just be sus.
Yeah, no, it would be point of interest, and then how does this continue, right? Like, and then probably I'll dig into it a bit. I was like, okay. Do you often do it like before you go out? Like, how often do you ask? Like, I'll dig into it a bit.
How about you, Dan?
I guess like just once, it would probably not trigger any alarms.
Mm-hmm.
But if I keep hearing that their parents are like deciding so much in their lives,
Mm.
then it would be weird. I feel like for me as a man, I would it's not as big of a problem as I imagine it would be for a woman to see that in me.
So, so so you're saying if you put your shoes into if you put yourself into the woman's shoes and your
It would be
boy
more
date,
cringe.
it would cringe. Benny
It would be more cringe than for the other way around.
and Benny is
I
just like,
think
oh, point of interest.
I think it's good to have a healthy relationship with your family,
Mother
but
specifically to do with the son.
I'm gonna say it the way I said it. I think it's good to have a healthy relationship with your family, but when it's becoming controlling or reliant, there might be an issue there.
Okay. All right. Round five. The Jim Bro crypto monologue. Okay, so this is a very common complaint where so when a man spends 90% of a day talking exclusively about his like fantasy football, his what's that new thing, poly market, right? His about his cryptocurrency, or he talks about his gym gains, like his gym regimen to how he counts his macros. Do you guys think that does he actually want a girlfriend or does he just want an audience?
It, yeah, and this sounds more to like the towards trending towards narcissism.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
did the person ask, or
No,
did they just
no,
like
they didn't ask.
dump it? Yeah,
Narcissist. Next question.
narcissist.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, so right,
I mean,
so
okay. Hold on. Somebody once asked me how my week was, and I said, "Oh, great! I broke my personal record in the gym, and that made me happy." I didn't go into the whole
Narcissist.
macro shit, and then they followed up with, "Oh, what did you break?" And then I answered the question, but then that was it. That was the only thing about the gym that was talked about.
that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine.
So okay, so again, put yourself in. I feel like you guys struggle to do this. Put yourself into the shoes of the woman. How many minutes of uninterrupted monologue would you give the man? Would you think like how
One.
many minutes can they go on before you think, oh, this is kind of weird?
One.
I mean, if it's within the reins of the conversation, and if I asked, then it's
Mm.
fine,
Oh, I
right?
understand your
Like,
point. Yeah, like you
Yes.
might
yeah,
be asking something very complicated, right? So it does take longer.
like the logic question about if and a.
Oh my goodness, we need to move on from this. Um,
No, like if it's within the lines of the conversation, and if I have genuine curiosity and want to know more, and I'm asking more, and they are answering my questions, and they are asking about me, and I'm answering their questions, fine. But if they are just unprompted monologuing about how they are handling their crypto portfolio, about how they do 7 sets and of this thing, and I'm like, brother, did I ask?
mm,
Brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Okay,
Girl, did I ask? Did I ask you about your fucking morning routine?
okay. The
That's the
final,
question, right?
yeah. Okay, the final question. This is something I personally have run into, and I'm actually interested to see how you guys react to this. So, uh, there's been like a story of a guy who invited a woman out to like a very trendy bar and a lounge, but then the date eventually turned into like a sales pitch for a pyramid scheme. You know, for what's the brand? There's so many of them, and this has
Mm.
personally happened to me. Like they invited me for massage, which I thought was code for you know, Little did I know
Mhm.
it really was a massage, and he
Wait,
started
are
like
they giving the massage or is this at a massage place?
no, they're giving me the massage, and then he took me into the corporate building. So the moment I walked in, I realized something was up. I was like, "Oh no, not this." Uh, and then I couldn't say no. So like I was very young, so
Why
I thought,
not?
yeah, I'll just have a bit of a massage. That's fine. And then yeah, I had to endure like like he knew. They said he knows I know kind of situation. Like he knew I'm not really enjoying this, but he has to do it because it is part of his job strategy. Like I think they are literally requested by the company to explore this
Uh,
avenue. And let's not just restrain it to pyramid schemes, right? Because apparently it could happen with Scientology, it could happen with some kind of cult, right? So I guess the
Dream and cold. I have a massage for you.
yeah. So I guess here's the question, right? This is a man versus woman, right? So the scenario I just proposed to you, when a man does that to a woman versus when a woman does that to a man, which one is worse?
they're both
Oh
shit.
man,
Equally?
Yeah.
Dan
a man
thinks
is
it's the
more
man.
dangerous. He has more physical power,
Mm.
Look,
but
the guy's
both of
version
them are
of
shit.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy's version of this would be bots on dating apps where
Yeah.
they pretend to be interested in you and then,
Mm.
oh, by the way, I have a crypto course that I would
Yeah.
like to sell you.
Dude. You have no idea how many
or
NFT invites I've been given on Grinder.
no, but then it's easy. You just unmatch, move on, finish. Same with a date. I thankfully never had anybody try to sell me anything
Mhm.
during a date.
But
But
mhm,
honestly, if it happens the first time and I say I'm not interested, and then it comes up again, I'll be
mhm,
suspicious and I probably say something like, "Hey, look, I said I'm not interested, and I would like you to drop the topic." And if they try to bring it up the third time, I think I'll just walk away. Honestly.
hmm. Wait,
That's
how
very
about
kind.
this? So how about this, right? Like, there was a viral story of a gay man in Los Angeles basically hitting up, like he found someone, well, he found a company's hiring manager on LinkedIn, and before and he didn't message the hiring manager on LinkedIn. He found him again on, hopefully by chance, on Grinder, and then basically asked for a hookup. And naturally, as men goes, they're just like, okay, yeah, if it's a go, it's a go, right? So they arrange the hookup, and once they meet up, the guy was like, "Oh, I'm actually applying for your company. What do you think I could you give me some pointers on interview, and could you take my resume?" But like the offer of sex is still on the table, right? Uh, in this case, is it slightly better or is it slightly worse?
I
uh,
mean, it's manipulative, kinda, isn't it?
Yeah, but you still
yeah,
get laid.
it's
Maybe he's hot.
bad.
Maybe they're
I
hot.
mean, it's
If
still
a woman
manipulative.
would do that with me, I
Yeah,
guess I
yeah.
would
I'm
be
asking
more
you if it's a
right. But
woman doing that.
then I imagine, if I imagine if I imagine a woman getting the same.
I wonder, like that must have happened. Like a young.
Because it's
Okay,
like
so
I
essentially what you're asking is if a hot woman
Mhm.
says, I'll give you sex if you introduce me to your company, yes or no?
oh,
Yes.
is it like that?
Yes.
I
The
misunderstood it.
the baseline of it is yes, it's that.
Well,
I don't know. Then it depends on each individual's morals and what they're looking for.
well,
No,
let's
I
say no,
would
no, no.
like
She
that.
didn't. She didn't flat out say. There's a bit of deception here, right? Like she
No,
just pretended to
of
be.
course, it's indirect.
Yeah.
It's manipulative.
Yeah.
But like the core of the thing is that, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I guess if you didn't know, you're setting yourself up for hurt because she's not interested in you, only that you introduce her to the company.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you're naive and you're probably thinking like, "Oh wow, she's interested in me, but why is she so why is she so fixated on the company?"
She must
Yeah.
love my job and playing in our family.
Right. I mean, like the same thing applies to the gay couple, right? Maybe the hiring manager isn't so good looking, and then the applicant is some hunk of a twink, in his mid 20s, super handsome, obviously wouldn't have trouble getting laid, right? So there is
First
that
of all,
power.
hunk of the twink is a contradictory statement, but
No, no, there's a thing called twink death. I'll explain the concept to you. But you understand there is a dynamic there, right? Like there is a sexual dynamic power where the person doing the deception is very attractive, whereas the person being
Mhm.
deceived is maybe mediocre, so they fall for it. And then only when the sex happens did they find out it was a trap.
well, see, here's the thing. Here's where the saying comes into play where if something is too good to be true,
Mm.
usually there is a catch. And if
Yeah.
you are not at least a little bit suspicious, then I is it on you?
Hmm.
Yes, I agree. It makes sense.
I thought
Like if you are self-aware enough where you know that you're just an average looking dude and some bombshell walks in and is fawning over you. I'm sorry, but my smelly radar, my this is something suspicious radar is will be off the charts, bro.
hmm.
Yeah.
How about I give you guys as a final my personal scenario where my good friend once matched with a girl on Tinder, and he later found out that her picture didn't really match how she looked in real life. Uh and
Catfish.
and well, no, it's the same person, but she made herself look a lot skinnier, let's say. Um and he found out,
Catfish.
and then he tricked me into thinking I'm going on a car ride with him to go get some food, because we often hang out, and then so it's like, oh yeah, let's just go get some food. And he and then we ended up picking up this girl, and I was in the back seat, and it was all very awkward, right? She's in the front seat. And then okay, his deception towards me aside, he's just a bit of a cunt. He does that all the time. It's fine. I forgive him.
Yeah, why are you still even friends with somebody like that? First of all,
Anyway, but so the girl is like in front, right? And then later my friend confessed to me, he's like, oh, maybe if we hang out. And then like he was sort of sidebarring the woman, right? He was trying to give her the cold feet, and he was
what the
constantly,
fuck? Why can't he just say, "Hey, sorry, I'm not
I
interested"?
know, right? And then he was just constantly talking to me. We're laughing, we're making jokes, we're talking about the stuff that we care about. And then I kept messaging him underhandedly. It was just like, "Oh, don't you want to speak to her?" And then she was bored out of her mind. And then eventually she left, right? So from her perspective, is my friend a douchebag?
Yeah, definitely. And also, you are also compliant in his douchebaggery.
Ah,
But I didn't
Jeez.
know.
You were texting him. The fact that you had to text him already
Yeah.
shows that something ain't right,
But I
and
couldn't
you
just
knew it.
jump out of the car, could I?
No, but you're like,
Of
so
course you
what
could.
exactly
It's
is
a
going
problem
on
of
here?
willpower.
No, but like you, like I don't know, man. Like,
No,
wouldn't you want to ask, like, so what's going on here? Like, hello, who are you? Like, random lady I never met before.
Yeah, I did. I did.
I
I
don't
did
think.
speak to her. Like every now and then, let's say if I have 10 back and forths, maybe I would speak to her 40% of the time, and then 60% of the time, because my friend kept hijacking the conversation. So he wants to talk to me. He wants response from me. And it just ended up being me kind of on a semi date with this woman. And it was just so weird. So I felt like, oh, I felt
Yeah.
so bad for her. I was like, oh, it must have been horrible.
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, you were manipulated into a shitty situation
Yeah.
from a shitty friend, which I don't know why you would still give your time and energy to somebody like
Maybe
that.
he's not so bad. He's just bad with dates.
Yeah. He's
If they
not
can
good.
do it to other people, they can do it to you. You know, it's
Ugh.
just not your turn yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope this satisfies. I have a feeling that we did not quench our female audience's thirst on this.
Oh yeah, we failed horribly.
No.
Because look, I have to say this, right? Like if I go through the same kind of conversation, it's kind of like it's a very gayish, a very feminine kind of conversation I would have with the girls, and I'll be like, oh my god, is that trash? And then like, we'd vibe off of it. And if suddenly I realize there's a fundamental difference between am I sexist? But like, but between how men and women communicate and talk about something, where the women and I would focus more on the person, or we sort of detach ourselves, and then we focus on the incident itself, and then I was like, oh no, that's trash, blah blah blah, and then for you guys, a lot has to do with, oh, how would I approach this, and what would be, in my opinion, what would be right, and according to my personal experiences, I can only speak on this experience because this is the only thing I know. I don't want to make statements outside of my purview, right? So there's like this fundamental difference between how I converse with my straight male friends and how I converse with my straight female friends. Uh, I need to get some gay girls in my life and see if the gay women are kind of like more like the straight men. I'm just curious, but
I mean, we can also agree that the situation is trash. I mean, we did call out that it's a trashy. There
yeah,
were some moments.
you know
It's not
what?
like we completely
You know what would be,
disconnect from
it
everything.
would be fun if you could get our the female audience on an episode, just me and them, and so it's just a very feminine podcast, and then we could observe like the difference between us, right? It could
Do
be,
you not have any female friends, Jamie? Could you
I
not invite
do, but
them?
they don't want to get on podcast.
Can't you give them a voice changer or something?
I guess so.
Like, this is not about you. This is just about your opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a voice
Oh,
changer. You don't need a voice. You don't need to show yourself or anything. You're anonymous.
wow, I don't really have
We
a
don't
lot
care
of
about
voice.
you as a person. We only care about what you think.
It was a very innocent question from you, but it fundamentally hurt me because I realized, oh wow, I really don't have that many friends. No, this is sad.
No, look, the amount doesn't matter.
Yeah,
The quality of your friends is more important.
indeed, indeed. Well, maybe,
Agreed.
yeah, but maybe we could get some. I'm trying to see how we could make this happen, but we'll talk about it later. So this is, I guess, the end of our episode today. Uh,
Yes.
Thank you guys for
Forgive
tuning
us.
in. Um,
Thank you, everyone.
yeah, we're also on
How
Spotify. I
about
feel
the
like
cards?
So
I feel like this is going to continue in our texting thread, but so yeah, let's get on with
we
that.
should just have a bait of the whole argument about the logic test,
Yeah.
and then cut it out and put it at the end. So if somebody wants to listen to all that,
Oh, okay.
they
All
can.
right, all right. If you guys are interested, this will be at the end, so after this sentence. For your sanity, I've cut it out. So, but yeah, that's it for today's episode.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you for
Goodbye.
listening.
All right, back to our weekly topic. Uh, why do men suck? And let's start with the first claim, and then we'll jump into the little game. Okay.
Wait,
Uh,
wait. I know why men suck.
yeah.
There's this function where where your rib cage flare out and your diaphragm goes downwards, which cause a big decrease in pressure within your lungs that
Uh-huh.
causes air to rush in through your mouth.
That's like a
And you
little.
can manipulate it to suck through a straw or have
Or
oral
somebody's wrong.
activities with your partner
It's like a
and thus produce the motion of sucking.
I need to
Hey!
record this just so that Bernard's kids in the future understand that he does dad jokes before he's a
Oh,
dad.
suck.
I mean,
It's like
you asked
level
why do
9.
men suck. I just explained to you.
All right. Claim 1. Like people like Andrew Tate or some of the people in the manosphere often make the claim that men are more logical than women. Before we talk about whether that's true or
What
not,
do you mean claim?
huh?
uh,
What do
I
you
have
mean
personal
claim?
experience to disprove that.
All right, let's play a little game. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys.
Oh shit, I'm on the bed. Let me go to the
Oh
screen.
no.
You don't have to show yourself then. Don't worry.
Oh wow.
Jamie is
No,
just
no,
there.
I cannot actually see what Jamie is showing. That's why.
Ah,
Ah,
okay. Are you not on your phone?
No, my headphones are wireless, so
Ah.
wow, this
Oh,
guy living high tech.
unprofessional.
All right.
You
Logic.
know,
So we're gonna do a
basically
logical
that
test. Yeah.
is that not like everyone's headphones are wireless these days?
You know what? I
Yeah,
reverted back to
it
like
is.
cabled headphones.
But
Crazy.
I got this HyperX Caster Pro microphone that I bought for $50. That's why I can do stuff like this now.
You know what? I
You
feel
Did you
like
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 stuff like this?
did you like that?
it is
No.
pretty nice. All right. Do you guys see my screen? It's Photoshop.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys heard about the Watson selection task?
No.
So
Mm-mm.
Watson selection task was devised, I think, back in the 1960s. We're going to do like a modern day version of it because the original question was even more difficult. I looked at the original question. I was confused for like 2 hours. This is a test about conditions, conditionals, preconditions, I think. So it is a logic test because you know how we talked about ontology in the past where we debated, what is a chair? And
Mhm.
mathematicians or logicians often have to they have to prove something, right? Like why does x equal x, or like one why is 1 + 1 2, right? Where you need to
Like,
find like a very logical way to you can't just use examples of like, oh, 1 apple plus 1 apple is 2. um no, why are you gay is not a, oh wow, wait, it could be a logical test. But anyway, the so the test we're doing, basically it's P then Q. I'll show you the details about it, but let's dive into the game. So I'm gonna present you with 4 cards, okay? And if you
Mhm.
see my screen, you'll have to read like the sentences very clearly. Like the syntax and the sentence, the wording is exactly one to one with the modern day version of the test. Like I copied it from them. So the understanding of it is very important. So I'll present you with 4 cards. Each card has a letter on one side and a number on the opposite side. Okay, so like
Mhm.
B6 or Z9.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, then I'll present you with 4 cards only showing you one side, right? So it could be numbers or letters. You have to determine which cards to flip to make the following statement true. Okay, the statement is, if there is an A, listen carefully, yeah? If there is an A on one side, then it has a 7 on the other side. Okay, so I'll show you the card. The cards, it's A, the letter A, the letter G. So I'm saying this just in case they're the listeners on Spotify, they can't see it. So first card has letter A, second card has letter G, third card has the number 7, and the fourth card has number 8. Okay. Now again,
Mhm.
which of these cards, you can flip one, you can flip two, you can flip all of them, but you need to choose which of these cards do I have to flip for this red statement to be true. Let me make that even larger so it's easier to see. Oh, I hope you see it now. If there is an
Why?
A,
First of all, there's a grammatical error.
where
Um, it's a 7, not N7.
oh, sorry. Yeah. How could that happen? I just copied it from from like a website. Uh
It's returned.
no, it refuses to be changed. Okay.
All right.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I want to go first.
Okay, Benny, you can go
Should I
first.
listen?
I want to flip A and 7, please.
Okay. Well, you don't really get to see it, but I can tell you whether it's right or wrong. All right, Dan, what about you?
Okay, let me think about this. If there's an A on one side, then it has a 7 on the other side.
Yeah.
So is this statement is like a rule, and I'm supposed to change the picture on the bottom with the 4 cards. Suggest a change,
Well, you don't have to
which will
change
make a
anything.
statement.
Each card has something on the other side, right? The card A has a number on the other side. It could be anywhere between 0 to 9, right? With like a single digit. And the numbered card, so let's say 7, has anywhere between A to Z on the other side,
Yeah.
right? So which ones
All
do
right.
you?
So I'm
Yeah,
confused about the right statement. Is it a statement or
this is a
like
statement.
And
This
you
is
have to
meant to
prove
be
it.
is it
confusing.
true? Is it true?
You don't know. That's what you're trying to prove.
You're trying to.
Oh, I'm trying to prove the statement.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there's an instruction above. Each card has a letter on one side and the number. Okay, which card do I have to flip to make the following statement true? All right. To make the following statement true, and it's true if there is an A on one side, then it has a 7 on the other side.
Hmm.
I don't think I need to change anything because if it's supposed to simulate like physical cards, right? For
Yeah.
example, on a table, if there's uh, if there's a card with an A,
Mm-hmm.
then it can be a 7 on the other side, but I cannot see it. So,
It could
well,
also be anything else, right? It could be a 7, it could be a 1, it could be a 2.
That's why you can choose to flip the A to see if there really is a 7 on the other side.
And it's
To
I
say,
don't,
aha, there
I
really
don't.
is a 7 on the other side. Therefore, the statement is true.
yeah, and the task is
Which cards do I have to flip to make following statement true? And I can only flip one.
no, you can flip
Now you
any
can flip as many as you want.
yeah.
You can flip all of it, even the table. Wah!
Well, then I guess I'll have to flip all of them because, yeah, sure, I need to flip the A and 7 to make sure that they're like abiding to this rule, but
hmm
then also G could have a 7 and then that rule won't be true. And the same case with 8 if it has an A on the back.
I'll give you guys one hint, okay? I'm not supposed to do this, but it will make it slightly clearer. So this sentence will now be if and only if there is an A on one side, then it has a 7 on the other side. Does that change your answer, Dan? It doesn't. It honestly doesn't matter. Like because I will show you. Before I
Like, I'm
answer this,
afraid I don't understand, like, or I'm missing some nuances
that's
in
the point.
English
That is the
to
point.
get what I'm being asked for.
Yeah, but that is
Like,
part of the challenge.
by that hint,
hmm
I'm not sure what it means. Like, are you saying that these cards are like kind of like magical?
No, no,
So
no.
if there's if I see one A, then even a 7 is like
That
uh,
is part of the
the hint
challenge.
didn't insult.
Okay, so now I'm going to. So the challenge actually isn't about solving this task. It's to I'm going to prove to you that there's something about our brain that understands uh that we evolved our logic not to solve truth, but rather to follow rules, or should I say to identify rules. I will show you. I will represent this question in a different way, and I'm guaranteed that all of you would get the right answer. Sorry, Dan, do you want to choose? Just for the sake of choosing.
Yeah, sure. I'm still staying with you have to flip all of them to make sure that
Okay.
they don't break the rule.
All right. Uh, okay. Before I answer that question, then let me rephrase this question. Okay. So again, the same thing. You need to flip the cards to see to answer the question, and I will present it to you. So instead of letters and numbers, right? Right now you are dealing with people in a bar or in a pub, okay? And your task is
Oh,
to
God.
flip the cards to find out who is breaking the law by underage drinking, right? Uh, and again, if you are under 18 and if you're drinking alcohol, then you are breaking the law, correct? Which cards do you
Yeah.
have to flip based on this? Dan, Benny, let's start with you. So we have the age
I'll
12.
go for 12 and beer. So for the non-visual audience,
Mhm.
there is 4 cards on the leftmost card is a 12. I assume that represents the age of
Correct.
said Patreon. The second one is 35. The third card from the left is soda. And the fourth most card, the one on the most right, it has beer on it. So me and my giga brain intellect says if they are 35 and they are drinking soda, it doesn't matter that
Yeah.
whatever 35-year-old person is drinking soda or beer, doesn't matter. If soda drinking person is underage or an ancient fossil, doesn't matter. They ain't breaking the law. So the only thing I got to check is the 12-year-old drinking a beer, or is the beer drinking patron a minor? So I go 12 and beer, please.
Aha, Dan, what about
Yeah,
you?
same for me.
Aha. Okay. So this is as I said, this is about conditional proofing, right? And you've got that right exactly. It doesn't matter if you're, if you're 12. It doesn't matter if you're, 35 or whatever. Like if you're over the age of drinking, you can drink whatever you want. Again, like Benny said, soda, you're not breaking the law. But immediately we understand that if you're drinking beer, I need to check you. If you're 12 years old, I have to check you. And the answers are exactly in the same order for the previous question. So it's A and the number 7, right? And we'll refer to like the first part of the phrase. It is the antecedent. I don't know how you pronounce that. And then the Q in this case is then it has a 7 on the other side. That is the consequent, right? So do you want me to tell you, like, explain the answer to you, or do you, now that you know the answer is A and 7, do you want to, let's go through each card.
Giga brain, yes.
Yeah. Well, you guessed wrong, right? You guessed 7, which is actually what most people guess. And only 4% of people got it right because it's confusing, right? And the challenge is about
I think Bernard
why
checked
it's so confusing.
correctly.
Yes. So
What
let's
do you
go through.
mean? I said A and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but the answer is A and 8. So 12 and
Oh, what?
beer. Right. Do you see the correlation? So it's like I'm telling you that these answers are the same.
Oh.
Can you make your screen stop jumping around all the
Oh,
time?
sorry. So beer and 8. 12 and A. We need to check the 12-year-old and we need to check the person drinking the beer. So the answer for this question is the same. The answer for, yeah. So it's A and the number 8. So you want to go through each of them and then we explain the logic?
But I had this thought, right?
Yeah.
In the concept of
I'm surprised. I want
harder.
to find out the answer because I don't understand how are they the same.
Aha. Okay.
We will find out the answer. Don't worry. But unlike the underage and what you're drinking example, I would say that there is no dividing line. It's just yes or no. This is more analog, I guess. It's no binary. This is more binary. It's either an A or a 7, and that proves that everything else is wrong. Or because if it's not an A on one side or a 7 on the other side, that would say that the statement is not true at all. So actually, in my head, you should check every card.
Aha.
Because if there's a
that's what
G
I
on one
said.
side and then a 7 on the other side, that disproves that if there is an A on the other side, it has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it has the 7 on the other side.
Okay, so
well, actually, the letter doesn't matter. The letter doesn't matter because
let me.
because if it's an A,
you know what?
if it's an A, then it has to be a 7.
I
If
thought
it's a
about
G,
it.
then it doesn't matter of what's the number. So in fact, based on this sentencing itself, I would say A, 7, and 8. Because if there is then if the on the other side of the 8 is an A, then it proves the statement false. You still need to check the 7 because if the other side of the 7 is an A, then it proves the statement true. And you need to check the A because if the other side there's any other number than a 7, then the statement is false again, where G just doesn't matter.
So let's do this. Let's flip the card 7. If you get an A7, the statement is
Yeah.
true. Yes. If you
Yeah.
get an X7, is the statement true or false?
It doesn't matter.
It's false.
No. It doesn't matter
The condition.
because the conditional or yeah, the conditional is the A.
Correct.
The number itself
Like
doesn't matter.
So you don't need
in
to
my
check this
opinion,
card.
in my opinion, it's in my opinion, is breaking the rule because if there's an A on one side, it has to be a 7 on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So it means 7 has to be together with A.
Not necessary. 7 can be with any other number as well, but only if there is an 8, then it has to be a 7.
So if it's a 7 on the other side, right,
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
any card, then the first side has to be A.
It doesn't have to be.
No, the condition
Like
is checking if the pair is an A7.
exactly. So
Right.
if it's a
So
7,
don't
then it
okay. So
has to
don't
be an
worry.
A.
Let me walk this through with you guys because
Necessarily.
it took me a
You just
while as
said a
well.
pair.
Yes.
No, yeah, but look at the sentence, right? The 7 is more like it has to be a 7, or if
So
not, it's wrong.
like I get what you're saying. I'm intentionally like being stubborn about it. Like I'm thinking about them as physical cards, and for me they can be in any position. So a card that is an A and it has a 7 on the other side is correct, but you could have encountered these four cards when they are flipped in the other ways,
Mhm.
and so that's why it has to be cards. Like the only correct cards would be if there's only cards where there's A and 7,
Mm-hmm.
like a A7 card. But that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you said like the card 7 doesn't have to have an A on the back, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't break the statement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, because I'm thinking about them like physical cards, it breaks the statement because I could have encountered these cards in any position, right?
Mhm.
And that's why even if even if it's currently laying down in a way that I see 7, it means that because the cards can be in any position, like then it has
Well,
to have an A
let me make
because
this clear then. So A could have any number on the back, and I didn't explain that you could very well get an A7 pair.
No. You're not understanding Dan. Now imagine, okay,
Mm-hmm.
imagine what Dan is saying. Imagine that the cards presented to us, Ace, G7, 8, is
Mm-hmm.
flipped onto the other side.
Yeah.
Can we still then prove the statement is true?
But we're not proving the flip side. I'm telling you that these are the cards.
Yeah. I know that's not the goal of it, but Dan's trying to argue
Mm-hmm.
that this has to be provable even if all cards are flipped on the other side and the other side is what we are presented.
Correct. Yeah. But then you wouldn't know if it's AG7 now because they're now flipped. It would be something
That's
else.
why he's arguing that a 7 has to have an A on the other side as well. And that's what we are trying to convince him that no, it doesn't. It just makes it harder to prove.
Wow, this is a lot more controversial
so
than I thought it was going to
so
be.
I think I hate tests like this
Yeah.
because the rules are intentionally
Sequence.
as misleading as they can be
Yeah.
for the person to say, well, actually, my rule is all right. You know, you should have guessed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not enough context because I'm thinking about them as physical cards.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the card on the left, which is A, is the same card, like a copy of the card, which is the third one, which is a 7.
So may I break it down for you guys?
But I get what you mean. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like that. There could be different cards.
Well, it right now you're stressing on the
No,
on the.
guys, come on. Let me speak. Let me speak. Let the giga brain here speak.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Okay. So basically, Dan is upset that the scenario is basically forced to make the logic work. You're building a scenario
Exactly.
that helps you prove your logic.
Yes.
Where he's saying that it should be a scenario where the logic can be proven regardless of what cards are on the table, which is a bit more difficult because only one side is the conditional, which is A, right? It's only saying if A is this, then the other side has to be that. It's essentially that's what it's saying.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That
Jamie,
is
the screen popping between display mode and screen capture. Can you like stop it flipping all the time?
What do you mean flipping? Like it's not flipping on my screen.
Oh, hold on. I'll make a quick video on Telegram and then I'll send you.
Basically, on the right where you have all the tools,
Uh-huh.
it sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears.
Oh, how about this?
Oh,
How about this?
here.
It is now better.
It still
Yeah, it's a
does
lot
the
better.
flippy flop, but it's a lot better.
What the hell?
Yeah. Okay.
How about I do this?
So anyway, while you guys are figuring that out, let me continue.
Oh wow, Benny is very passionate about this.
Yes,
Mhm.
I am. So, unless it's conditional where both sides, then it's basically arguing where if it's both sides conditional, because now it's just one-sided, right? One-sided conditionality.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's still kind of flopping, and I'm trying to send you the video of it flipping.
What if I quit like full screen mode?
Maybe.
Does that help?
So yeah, the video perfectly shows the flipping.
Let me see.
I think it helped.
Is it still flipping now?
No.
Not on my end.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, so which actually explains to you why I decided to flip the original number 7, because the flipping the original 7 helps to prove that the statement is true. Your arguing is just we need to only check if the argument is false, because everything else don't matter. Where I'm saying no, we have to check that the argument is false, but we also have to clarify if the argument is true. Because just because the argument is false doesn't make it a binary, there is no false, it cannot be proven false, therefore it can be it means that it's true. That's wrong.
You're on the right track. So do you change your answers?
No, well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, yes, because now you have revealed that you need to check on the other side of the A, but I do not change the fact that I will still flip the 7 so as to prove that the statement is true or not.
Yeah. So you guys are really overthinking this. I'll walk through every part for you.
No. There
We're
is
not
no such thing as
overthinking this.
overthinking. That's not why my last relationship broke down.
Guys,
I
come
don't
on.
think we're overthinking this.
We have limited time, so
It specifically leaves as little detail and context as it can,
correct. Yeah.
and that's why it's confusing. It's
Yes.
just made to be confusing.
It is, yes.
And that's why the additional context of the bar order makes it
so much
like
easier.
more obvious.
Right. So, okay, we don't have to stress too much about this. This isn't about proving this or not. It is about how we understand things far better when it's put in context. Okay. So let's walk through each of them very quickly. Why do we have to check A to see if the statement is true? If this is A on one side and it gets an 8 on the other side, then it's false, right?
Yeah.
But if it gets an A on one side, it's a 7, there's a chance it could be 7. So we must check this, right? If there is a G on this side and the opposite, does it matter what's on the other side?
Not really, because we're
Because
only testing the A.
we're checking A, then 7. If
No, I think that matters.
A, then 7. Cross that out. Because the statement is saying if there is an A on one side, then it has a 7 on the other side. If this has a 7 on the other side, does that matter does that have anything to do with whether there's an A or not? That is the first condition we're checking, right? If it has an A
It
on one
only
side.
matters if the cards presented to us were all flipped on the other side, which is not.
Yeah, which is not. So if this is a G7, that doesn't matter. That's something else. We don't care about that. If this is a G any number, let's say 6, that still doesn't matter. If it doesn't prove if A then 7 to be wrong. Let's look at 7. This is where most people get it wrong, this is my choice as well. I chose the same as Benny. I thought that if A then 7, then we get something right. Right, then this proves the statement to be true. But if I get a B on the other side, does that prove this to be wrong? Now think a bit longer on this.
Oh, it doesn't prove that it's wrong.
Correct, because
It just doesn't prove that the statement is correct. It doesn't support the hypothesis.
yes,
It's just
it's irrelevant to the
it's
hypothesis.
inconsequential.
Right. So if there is an A on the other side of 8, that doesn't prove anything, right? If there's a B on the other side of the 8, that still doesn't prove anything, even if it doesn't have anything to do with A. So this is just condition, right? If condition A, then 7, right? We're checking for this one first, then we're checking for this one second.
Yeah.
B7 doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with our hypothesis. Is that clear? So the
Yes.
logic is sort of the same here, right? If I get an alcohol on this side and it turns out to be 12, then this condition is then he's breaking the law, right? He's underage drinking. We must check. 35 years old, could be drinking beer, could be drinking soda. All good. Doesn't matter. We don't care. Soda drinker, doesn't matter how old you are. It does not matter to do. It doesn't had anything to do with breaking the law, right? The law has to do with alcohol. Same thing with beer. If a beer is drunken by a 7-year-old, there is a condition, and then this is breaking the law, right? That's important. But if it's a 35-year-old, yeah, that's okay. But there is a possibility, right? This is underage drinking. So
Yeah, but if I can interrupt you here for a sec, the second example has a higher range. It's depending on your country, 18 or 21, and everything below it, where the first example was just conditional on one aspect, which is A.
that's okay. We could just set it to this is let's say the United States then.
No, but that
I
makes the
think
distinction.
for me, the biggest difference is that it's clear for me that if those are checks, it like a 35-year-old doesn't have to copy another 35-year-old. There's no like, you know what I mean? There's no rule in the world that if you're this age, this has to be your order, right? It can be anything.
Okay.
And with the cards on one side and then on the other side, the
Uh-huh.
cards are not made out of two separate sides. It's one object with two connected sides. That's like the big difference, that there's a tie. So we're like essentially we're looking for cards which have a A and 7 on the back.
But in this condition there is no tie because we don't know what's on the other side. It's not
What you should have done is said there are 8 cards, and each of them are laying on one another, and you only see the top cards, so you only see the 4 cards.
Yeah, but then
You detach them so that I know that an A, if you just take the top card, you can flip it, it's blank on the other side. That means that underneath it, there could be any other card. And then it then it will work.
it'll
But
be more
because
contextual,
there
right?
are because but because it's not more contextual. The context is different. You're putting context of saying that it's a card. You don't specify that the card has its size separable. You're
What?
saying with your red statement, you're saying
Mhm.
there should be. The statement is true if a card exists which has a A and 7 on the back. If
No,
the
no,
card,
no.
if the first card A has a 6, it's then the statement is not true, right?
Yeah, then
Yes.
it's not true.
So I would say that if it's laying down with the 6 presented to us, mm, we cannot say that it doesn't matter what the card which has 6 on the side that we see. It matters because if it's a A, then the statement is wrong.
Let me draw this
No.
out.
Hold on. Then you're fixated on proving that the statement is true. The test only wants to see what do you have to check to prove if the statement is true. Do you get the difference? You don't have to prove the statement is true. You just have to, which card do you have to flip in order that you can check if the statement is true. And there's only one that matters, which is if there is a 7 on the other side of the A. Because for the other cards, anything else don't matter. Because you're not trying to prove that the
It
statement is true.
matters
No.
because
You look. You're still, for you. It matters a lot. Is because you want to prove that the statement is true. The statement, the hypothesis, the letter in red,
for
it
me
doesn't
it
matter.
matters a lot because for me the context that these are cards change
Yes,
everything. That
yes, but
they
that's not what the
that
question is
the,
asking. It's not asking you to prove that the statement is true. It's only asking you which one do you have to flip to check if the statement is true.
Match.
Do you
How
understand the
about this?
difference?
Let's say match. Okay, you guys, this is this is a lot more heated than I expected, and
No, it's not heated, Jamie.
it
You're afraid of
do you
conflict.
have to go or
no, no,
like
no,
can
because
I?
we have other questions we have to tend to, and it's
Yeah, so let us walk through this, Jamie. You're trying to force something, a conclusion, and shove everything aside.
no,
That's
because
Yeah,
I
wrong.
thought you
that's
guys
You're a
could.
bad teacher. You
No, no,
only care
no.
about the result.
I was just gonna
You need.
suggest that you can look this up. Just type into Gemini, type in AG78 Watson selection test, and it explains it to you
Yeah,
in like order.
that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to prove a theory or anything. We're trying to help each other
I'm not
understand.
saying it's wrong. It's I'm saying why it's misleading
It is, yeah,
for
that
me.
is the point, right? Like the point is that it is worded in such a confusing way that we do not make the connection immediately. Whereas if I put this into the context of drinking, or whether it's breaking a law in linguistic, that's called deontic. If it's
No,
has to
it's a
do,
whole different situation. You guys are both wrong. Listen to me.
oh wow,
The A7 example is only reliant on the A, whereas the alcohol example, it's any number below a certain number. There is a bigger range, but it doesn't matter.
you can flip it. You could
And
say it only matters if it's alcohol, right?
yes, but you're checking something else. You're checking a different conditional.
It's
You're checking a conditional
I understand what you
if
mean because it's 7 on one hand on this example, and on this example we're checking then greater than or equal to 21, but it's still a binary choice.
exactly.
It's still a binary
So that
choice.
means on the bar example, you needed to check two factors, the 12 and the beer. Where on the below example, you only need to check one factor, which is A, because
No,
all the other three didn't matter.
no. It doesn't matter which one you put first for the bar. Let's say if I put alcohol, whether it's alcohol or not, and then age as a second, it doesn't matter how much you flip it. The rule,
No, you then have to check. You then have to check the 12 and the beer. You need to check if the person drinking the beer is above the legal age, and you need to check if the 12-year-old is drinking alcohol or not. Whereas, look, you're both. Whereas we're not being asked to check if the statement is true. on the alphabet example.
Mhm.
We're only asked on what should we check to see if the statement is true or not. So we don't need to choose, we don't need to prove that there is an A on the other side of the 7, because that's not what it's asking. Because on the other side could be any other alphabet of the 7. That's not what it's asking. The only conditional is if it's an A, then on the other side is a 7. If it's a 7 on the other side, then it doesn't matter what
I
everything on what alphabet is on the other side, because the only conditional is the A. And we're wait, we're not proving the hypothesis. Then we're not proving the hypothesis. We're only saying to ourselves, what do I have to check to see if the presented situation, any other cards or any other combination don't matter, because the only thing we need to check is, with these 4 cards in front of us, which do I have to check support, which help me prove that this is true. And the only one is the A, because the conditional is the A. So if we see the A, that's the only conditional. So if on the other side is a 7, then it will suggest, it doesn't prove that it's true, but it will suggest that the statement is true. And if it's not a 7, then it suggests, then it's a clear statement that the statement is false. And any other number don't matter, because the conditional is the A. You can flip the 7 to help prove that the conditional is true if there is an A on the other side. But even if there is another alphabet on the other side, it doesn't necessarily say that the conditional of an A on the other side and 7 on the other side has to be that way.
So yeah, well, I get what you mean. We have to, like, it's asking us to which card do I need to flip to make the statement true, and like I need to avoid doing something that would disprove it. Like it's like I'm trying to fool someone and to say so that they believe that the statement is true. How can I do it? Because it's not in my interest to flip 7, because if there's not an A, then that statement is not true.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not that it's not true, but it doesn't matter, because the
No, it
conditional is
matters.
only on the A.
It matters because it's asking us about which cards do I need to flip to make the following statement true. And the statement is that if a card has an A on one side, it has to have a 7 on the other.
But that's not what it wrote. It doesn't say it has to have. It just say it have a 7. It's not an
You're right.
ultimate, you know.
So if it has a 7, then that means it has an A on the other side.
If you say it that way, then the only card you have to check is the 7. You see?
I think it's both ways because it's
No, no,
cards.
no.
A card cannot exist that if it's on the table and it's laying down so that you see A, it has to have a 7, and it doesn't mean that it's magical that if it's laying down this time with the 7 towards you, like all of a sudden it will change to another letter. Like those
You
are
are
physical objects. You're saying you're like, I need to come up with a different example.
Oh my god.
no, I get what you're trying to say, but
It's
but let's
If
say
we're
we
talking
have 4
about
pieces of
cards,
paper. Let's say we have 4
yeah,
pieces of paper, right? And I randomly write it down.
like
I don't have
you're
to put
making
a
your own
7.
cards, right?
Yes, but I don't, when I put a 7 on one side of the paper first, when I flip it, I don't have to put an alphabet A on the other side. I can put any other alphabet. But if I'm writing A first on one piece of paper, when I flip it, in order for the statement to be true, then I put a 7. It depends on what comes first. If we flip the sentence, if there is a 7 on one side, then it has an A on the other side, then the alphabet don't matter anymore. Because the only thing you are trying to look for is the 7. Does it have an A on the other side? The A having the 7 on the other side don't matter because I could have written down any other number. You understand? It's not a printed card already prepared for you. I wrote it down right here, right
It
now.
doesn't matter. You wrote it down. A printed card is also somebody wrote it down using a machine.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not forced to keep A's
Like
and 7s
the
on the same
example
sides.
didn't change, in my opinion.
Yeah,
The
but
fact that
like,
you wrote it by hand on a piece of paper doesn't change it.
okay, but I'm not.
You know what? You know what does change it?
What?
8 cards. When you have pairs, and you know that like like 8 cards is the same as the example with the alcohol and age, because there don't have to be in a specific pair.
Okay, let's say it
We're
like this.
checking
Let's say
we're
there are
checking
8
a
more cards.
card. Because it's a card, it has to be a pair. A card cannot exist. Okay, well, if it's a digital card or a magical card, then yeah, of course, it can like decide which number to show me when it's flipped. Then it's a whole different question. But if it's physical cards, we have to check them to make sure that the statement is true. Now, if I wanted to fool someone and avoid exposing that my statement could be not true, then I only check, and then I only show the A card. Maybe I don't understand the word true correctly. But
It's
in my
trying to see if it matches that conditional, right? A simpler
And okay,
explanation. The whole point. Look, Benny, let me explain this. So the simple idea behind this, it's about a precondition and a consequent, right? The antecedent and the consequent. Let's say if it's raining outside. Oh my god, I can't spell. Raining outside, then Bernard is indoors. Okay. Let's say if
It's
this
not
is
the same. It's because it's a card. You
okay,
you
wait. No,
explaining me.
Jamie, check your Telegram. Let me help Dan a little
okay.
bit.
No,
Okay.
I understand you. I accept your things. What I'm trying to say is that the example with cars does not work here.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm gonna continue with your example where you suggest putting 8 more cards. Okay.
not
When
8
you
more, 8
suggest
in total.
when you suggest 8 in total cards, right?
Yeah.
You're working on the logic that all cards on one side is randomized on the other side, or what logic are you working on? Like, why do you say, help me understand, why do you say that having 8 cards will prove this hypothesis is true?
Well, it won't prove it. I would say it would then align with how you're saying it's true, I guess.
Okay, let's say there is 8 cards. There
Yeah.
is there's 2 more numbers, and in according to this example, there's 2 more numbers and there's 2 more alphabets. How does having 2 more numbers and 2 more alphabets, which are not A's, help you check better? Because remember, we're not trying to prove that the hypothesis is true. We're just wanting to know which cards do we have to flip to see if the hypothesis is true.
I don't understand your question. Sorry.
Okay, let me just throw on paint real quick, yeah? Okay, and then I want to
Maybe I
share
should
my...
try to explain mine.
Yeah, why
Idea
not?
with 8 cards. All right, let's
Perfect.
imagine we have
So,
4 cards. First laid down with random signs,
Who's
whatever.
sharing the screen?
I'm sharing the screen.
Okay, let me.
Then we'll have to share his screen as well.
Wait. So Dan explains
So we have,
his question.
No,
first.
I'm watching at Bernard's screen.
Okay.
so let's use y equals to number. I don't have a stylus, so this is all with the mouse, right?
For some
And
reason, it's not drawing anything.
is it not?
Make it thicker.
I guess the
Go-
line is too thick. It's like
Oh, it's too thin. It's too thin.
some of the letters are not visible.
Use the
Yeah.
airbrush tool.
Airbrush tool. Which is the airbrush
Wait,
tool?
is it?
Is this the
No.
Oh no, there's the paint.
One below that.
Press
Microsoft Paint. That's a
That
Is
one.
this the airbrush?
eyedropper.
Oh no, that's
No,
the
that's
eyedropper.
the-
They're wrong.
Can I just change the
make it
pencil?
thick, make
There
it
we
thick,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, make it thick. That's how you like it, David. Right? Ain't that? So x equals to um, A, B, C's because it's easier than typing out alphabet, and y equals to numbers. Okay. So even with, say, 8 cards, right?
Yeah.
As long as you can, the only real, I'm arguing the only real thing you need to check, oh wait, hold on, is if it's an A. If x is any number that is not an A, it doesn't add anything to prove that if there is an A, because this is the only thing you're trying to check, then there is a 7 on the other side. I guess I should make 7 green. It's not saying that it's interchangeable. It's only saying that only the A only when you see an A, then there will be.
To make things clear, you do understand that with my idea with 8 cards,
Mhm.
the statement is true.
Walk me through it.
Well, you like you don't need to be walked through because the logic that you are using for the 4 cards is, in my opinion, what perfectly applies to the 8 cards.
So when you said earlier that having 8 cards would help help the logic, can you?
It would make the example. I think 8 cards is a proper example instead of 4 cards.
Is it because of just because there is a bigger sample size?
No,
Then
it's because it changes the principle. It's the same with the orders. As I said before, a person that is 35 years old doesn't like all the people on the planet that are age 35 don't have to order one specific drink. They can order anything.
exactly.
That is
Let's
why
not think about
when
the
you
bar example
that
right
is
now.
that is why when you flip this check from a bar, you can expect anything. Because in the example that was given first, we have cards,
Mhm.
and it's asking us to check a card for where it has A on one side and 7 on the other.
Mhm.
That automatically means that if it's 7 on one side, it has an A on the other.
It's asking you to check
Um,
the hypothesis. I'm making. Let's say I'm making.
wait, no,
claim.
no. Hold on,
And
Jamie. Hold on.
and that's
Let
why
me let me walk through this.
wait. Don't let me continue with what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to add to what Jimmy said. And that is why I started to think maybe I don't understand what means like checking the hypothesis, right?
Mhm.
because like I put it in a more simple language that I understand. Uh, it's basically what, like if I would be on the street and I was asking people for money for this trick that I will show,
Mhm.
then if I would have to fool them, like for so that they are convinced that this statement is true, I would
Mhm.
only flip A, and if it's a 7, it's a true, and then don't flip anything else because it's not in my interest to do any more checks, because I need as little as amount of checks that I can get to convince the person, and I don't need any other checks because they might result in me jeopardizing my statement.
Correct. That's why I say the test is it's not quite fair, because the test is designed to prove the logic, not check if the
Yeah,
statement is true.
it's yeah, I agree. That's what I was also saying.
Yeah.
That
No, the
the
test is to find.
example is misleading. Like the whole goal of this test is to be misleading.
It is
But
misleading.
And then it's like, haha, people
Jamie,
are
hold on.
confused.
Yeah, let then finish first. So correct. Because you're only trying to see if there is a 7 on the other side of the A, right? Um, if there is an A on the other side, or if there is a different alphabet on the other side of the 7, you don't want to check it anymore, because there is a risk of it disproving that logic of A 7.
Yes.
But what you're saying is that the logic is also stating that if there is a 7 on the one side, it has to prove that there is an A on the other side, which is not what the statement is saying. If we go back to the statement, it says if there is an A on one side,
The statement
then it has
itself
a 7 on the
the
other side.
statement itself doesn't say that, but the added context of it being a card says that. If it wasn't a card, if it would be a different example like mine or with the bar, it changes the context.
No, but like, why does
It's
it
an
have to?
additional condition that changes the answer.
Yeah, but okay, imagine a card, right, Dan?
Yeah.
So here is my red card. On one side, I write, I have to keep changing it to pencil. I write the 7. What's stopping me from writing any other alphabet on the other side?
Nothing.
Exactly. So, are we looking, if like when we look at the statement, it's only saying A, other side is 7. It's not asking us to check if 7 is the other side A. That's not what it's asking.
But it is, because it's a card. It cannot be the other way around.
Yeah, but what's
If we're
stopping
checking for a
anybody else?
card, what?
But what's stopping anybody else from taking? Okay, so let's say, okay, so
A A7
imagine this.
card is
Imagine
the
this.
same as a 7A card because it's just flipped. And because we're looking for a card,
The difficulties of navigating Microsoft Paint. This is an official complaint we need to make.
Yeah, I just want a new one. Can I just
Just
fucking?
Control A and delete.
There we go. Yeah, but see,
Don't draw. I understand everything. Don't waste time on drawing.
okay.
You can just speak. I get
You're
to be true, to be like to be clear. I understand how you see the situation and that you like I get your explanations, but I don't understand. I don't think you get mine
yeah, what
because
Dan is
you keep
saying is
explaining
that
me
so what
different
Dan is
things.
saying is put into the context of a physical card, then
yes.
it must be two-way, right? But the question is presenting
Yes,
you with imaginary card, right? So
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's
It doesn't state
confusing.
anywhere this additional condition that it's an imaginary, magical, whatever card.
Yes,
And
but
that's and the second condition that is supposed to be eye-opening is just different. It's
Yeah.
different,
So
and
what I
that's
should
why
have said is that
it
this is
works.
imaginary, right? Like we don't actually know what's on the other side.
Yeah, you have to add context
Yeah.
because like we're not checking for
Yeah,
cars, I
for
guess.
to solve this question, everybody needed like a different piece of information to like make it make sense in our heads. For me,
um,
uh, it was the if and only if, right? I needed that extra bit of context to know that you're checking for that sequence, A then 7, right? The arrow points to from A to 7, not the other way around, right? So
Even I think if it wasn't like screw the cards, just like remove the cards from
mm,
it.
mm.
Like the car is
imaginary
really
object. Let's say imaginary object.
it's not even an object. It's because you have to like um
Here, I think this will help you.
help me with what?
Okay, your logic is it's a card. It has to be proven. It has to be proven double-sided. That's your logic. A has to be 7. So if it's a card, if I flip it around, then 7 has to be A. Correct?
Yeah.
But what if this is the result?
Okay.
So if we take all the top cards and we flip it around, this is the result we get. That on the other side of the 8 card, there was a B. On the other side of the 7 card, there was a C. On the other side of the G card, there was an
Yeah,
A.
I see them.
Yeah. So the first question is to prove that A, on the other side of the A, there is a 7. And on your logic, to prove that on the other side of the 7, there is an A. Jamie said the only one we need to check is the A, and everything else don't matter.
No, and 8.
No,
What?
you
That's
go back
my
to your
answer.
writing, the yellow writings.
Yeah. We
Look,
I'm thinking this
look
is a very
below.
interesting episode.
H8, B8, both are negative. You canceled it out yourself. You proved to yourself that the 8 was not necessary to
No, you
check.
guys are you're not listening to me. Let me explain that again.
No. Listen, you guys are you guys are all wrong.
Benny, why do it? But
Wait,
Benny,
wait,
why?
I'm
wait.
making a
Listen,
brain.
listen, listen,
Let
listen.
me let me try to tangent to the why men are annoying.
Yeah.
We all think we're right and we're the most
Let
logical.
me just clarify that we've
It doesn't
already.
only apply to women.
It's already
Look,
been one and
you
a half
you
hours.
yourself picked. You drew the line first, and then when you did the logic, you yourself only ticked the A card and you did not tick the 8 card.
That's true, Jamie. That's how I
But no,
remember
that
it at
doesn't
least.
matter.
Yes.
Like I already told you in the
It
beginning.
does matter.
No.
Listen,
Listen back to the recording yourself, and you will find that I said A and the number 8. The whole point
that was
of me, but that doesn't. No.
that's what you said the
The whole
answer
point
was.
of me
Yes,
showing
that is
you
correct.
the upper example is that listen, these are the answers. That's why I drew the line. Okay.
Yes.
Don't stress too much that I ticked this and I didn't tick this because I
Wait.
walked you through the
Hold on.
logic.
You proved yourself wrong. You
No, I
proved
didn't.
yourself wrong.
No.
No. You said these are the answers, and then while going through why it doesn't matter
You
if
think
there
that
is an
because
A on the other side or not.
you didn't understand my explanation for this.
Hold on, please. This is not about proving you wrong. This is about I wish to present an idea.
Okay.
It's not about you being wrong, okay?
So do you want me to explain why it's the letter A and the number 8?
you already did.
So explain to me then. Why is this the answer?
I would like to actually because that I also like Bernard. I also understood that you said that we only need to check A. So I somehow I completely missed it. So to be honest, Bernard, do you mind if he explains it? Because I would like to.
Sure.
Y'all need
And
to
Jamie,
rewatch the episode.
are you still on full screen? Because
Uh,
the thing is flipping out like crazy.
I'm on. You know what? Let me change my share screen mode because maybe that's the problem. How about if I share just entire screen? Because that used to work.
Yeah.
Does that
Watch
work?
out! Don't have your
Sure.
tabs closed.
It doesn't matter. I don't have anything nefarious. If
There
you
we
guys
go.
are interested, just look it up. I put it into the chat. Just watch that video. It's very simple. We're checking if A, then 7. Why do we need to
Yes.
check 8? What if it's an A8? Yeah, what if
If
it's an
it's a
A8? What if it's a B8?
Well, it doesn't. If there is an A
so
on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
does it disprove that if A then 7?
Because if it's an A on the other
for
side, it's 8 on the other side. So it disproves my hypothesis that if it's A on one side, then it's 7 on the other side. Correct? So we
yeah,
need to check it, right?
So shouldn't we also be checking the 7?
No, because first, if it's A on one side, if for this one, if it's A on one side and 7 on the other side, then the statement is true. That's fine. We're trying to see if your hypothesis is wrong. If it's a B, however, then the 7 and the 7 on the other side, then it's wrong, right? So we must check it.
No, you earlier said it doesn't matter because it doesn't
wait,
disprove
so
the
we need to check
hypothesis.
all the cards.
I said it doesn't matter because we're checking A, then 7. If it's a B, then 7, that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't mean that doesn't make the statement true. Well, that doesn't prove the statement to be false, right? Because it's a B.
In my opinion, it proves the statement to be false, but that's just because I'm thinking about them as physical cars. That, like, for me, because I have to flip them to check the statement, it
Let's
means
go
that
with the
it's
7.
both ways.
My hypothesis is one side first, A, second, and 7. If I why don't I have to check this, right? Because the first condition, the first possibility is it indeed is an A on the other side. Okay? So then I don't disprove my hypothesis. If it is a B or X or Z, a 7 on the other side, I made no such claim about those letters.
That is true.
So it doesn't disprove the hypothesis. However, if this turns out to be A8, right, it disproves the hypothesis. So I need to check this to make sure this statement is true. It's been 1.5 hours. Don't worry, guys. It took me longer. I did have to think very
No,
long time.
I understand it. Like, I get it. I get it. The problem is with the example.
Exactly,
That's what
because
I'm
that's
trying
the
to
whole
say.
issue, right? Like if you remember, guys, in the beginning, I was saying that we struggle with a question when it's presented in a descriptive or indicative way, which is
We don't struggle. He's presented uh, for people to, how do I say? I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you only need to check an A and 8. It
mm,
only works if you're thinking about it as a mathematical hypothesis and you don't tie it with the fact that they are cards. Then it works. Then I get it completely.
yeah,
If it's a piece of code in like on
yeah.
a
Think
script
of
that
it
I'm
as a
working,
code.
it makes sense. Like if you give it as an example of a piece of code, and like the example like disproves the statement. The fact that they are cards disproves the
Yeah,
statement.
because
If it would
when
be a
I say
different example,
because this is a problem of linguistics, right? Because when I say card, you're thinking of physical objects. In this sentence, this is hypothetical. These are imaginary, right? And that is part of the issue, which is the idea that when I put it into a descriptive term, a lot of things have to be clarified for it to make sense. Okay, guys, you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
This is
Okay.
an
So
existing question. You can look up the answer yourself. There is full explanation online. This has been resolved a
I,
long time
I,
ago.
I
hold on,
believe
hold
you.
on. Even if they are cards, even if they are cards, right? Jamie, you see, this is
Because we have 8 more questions to redeem ourselves. So we talk about men.
Okay, we stop here. I suggest we stop here. We go for the questions quickly.
Oh,
You
thank
put
God.
us on a timer.
Yeah, this a debate about logic just went on for so long. Okay.
no. This is correct. Yeah, this is correct. It does matter if there is an A on the other side. But in Dan's example, even if you flip it on the other side of the card, right? Then the question would be to see if there is a 7 on one side, is there an A on the other side? And if you want to prove that the 8 has not an A on the other side, if you go back to my thing here,
Hmm.
then the bottom side would be, then we will flip it around, would be if there is a 7 on one side, you need to check if there is an A on the other side. Then you would still have to prove that the 7 has an A on one side here. And you have to check if the 8 has an A on the other side. You see then? It still works. It's just the direction of what you're checking is different.
Nobody.
Yeah,
Do
I don't
you?
understand. I still think because of an because in the example it's cars, you have to check all the cars.
Benny,
Exactly. No, not exactly. Even
Benny,
if it's a 6.
Benny, in the second deck, right? Why do you need to check for the 7? The second deck, first one.
Yeah,
Because
because you flip the logic. You flip the logic. You're now
okay,
looking
okay,
at
okay. You're
if there
flipping
is a
logic.
7. Yeah, you flip
Okay.
the logic. In
Yeah.
and Dan's example of it being a card still is correct. But even if like, even if I, let's say this is not an 8, let's say this is a,
I'm just saying that because it's an example with cars, a car that has an A has to have a 7, and so even if it's
exactly, you're
laying
right.
down,
The
even
A
if
and
it's
the
laying
7 is
down
here.
with the 7 on top, then it has to have an A.
Correct. You're correct. And it's on the left side right here. But even if
So
it's
in order to
flipped,
check it, you need to check all the cars because any other combination with that has a 7 or an A disproves it. It makes the statement wrong.
well, there's no A on the second card, so it don't matter.
Yes.
The statement is A first and then 7 second.
But that means I have
Then
to somehow magically know that it's not the case without flipping them.
yeah,
Because
but
I don't know when they're like in your example, I see both sides at the same time. Then of course you're just asking me which of the cards are proving the statement. But because in the original example I only see one side, I cannot know this.
yes, but you're ignoring the fact that we are checking if it's an A on the top side and we are checking if it's a 7 on the bottom side.
Yes. That means if it's flipped, it can be a 7 on the top side and an A on the bottom side. I get that the wording there it is in its own statement, or it is in its own sequence. But that's how language works. Even if I want to force the rule that if it's A on one side and it has to have a 7 on the other side, I cannot pronounce both of these conditions at the same time. It has to be written down in a sequence.
How about this, guys? How about this? Uh, Dan, can you present your partner with the same question, and you guys work it out and see if she has the same question as you do, and because this is very interesting, it has to do with linguistics, and then you guys can delve into the YouTube video and see the actual explanation and see where you agree or disagree with it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Benny, you do the same thing. Challenge somebody in your life to the same question. See if they if they have questions, if they have logical questions about it in a different way, right?
Do they have to be of the opposite sex?
No, no, no. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. This is a very this is I don't know how else to explain this. This is just precondition check. We're going for A first and 7 second. You just go watch the video and it'll hopefully it'll make it very clear to you. Uh but yeah, I guess the past 1.5 hours is a perfect example that men really care about logic. And we need we need to move on to the anecdotes of which why like women would find men to suck.